Oh, good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? First question I'm going to ask is, do you still have a bank account and do you still have money in it? So I'm going to check mine right now. As you should too. You call the bank, you check your balance. So let's check our balance. This is critical every day. Make sure you got your money in there. And do. So that's a good thing. I do have money in the bank, so I assume because it says it's a open and that. So that's a good sign. And most important. So it hasn't hurt my bank yet, but I'm waiting. So what do we know? A third bank has crashed. This one's called Silvergate. So now we got three banks I've never heard of that are supposedly big. It's probably just mafia banks or some sort of it's all part of the understand it's all part of the plan. Okay. This is about going to digital currency, scaring everybody. Look, you can't trust the banks. Put your money in the Federal Reserve digital currency. And if you notice, JP Morgan, now gold went up quite a bit yesterday, and today it's kind of even. Let's check what our gold's doing. So these are normal things you want to do every day. Is my bank still there? Do I still have money in my bank? Because you're going to wake up and you're not going to have money in your bank. Okay. I would say JP Morgan and Chase are probably the last bank to go. They probably won't go because they're the ones in control. So what do I see here? I see somehow the gold futures are now 1908. This is COMEX down $8. You may ask, why the hell is it down $8? Because it's derivative. It's not real. So here's silver, 21.89, which is fine. I'm going to run and buy another 20 ounces. And there's my 10 o'clock gold drop per usual. There's my usual 10 o'clock drop and then back up. So 10 o'clock, it went down to 18.99. Then it goes back to 1909, and now it's at 1904. Who's selling gold in this environment? You've got to be out of your fucking mind to be selling your gold in the middle of massive inflation and banks going out of business. Yeah, I'm going to sell my gold and do what? Where are you putting your money? Into the bank. So the Dow's up 400 points based on market rallies, bank stocks bounce, and inflation cools. So if this is the real reason, I would bet $1 million against. So what are they saying? They're saying that inflation's cool because the government told us, and they're not counting food, energy, and renters. And I doubt very serious. And if the price is because they're figuring it by price, what have I said? If the guy raises his ribs to $40 and they don't sell, he's got to lower the price. That doesn't mean inflation's went away. It's all about the market. This is a very good point about the freaking market, right? This whole thing is about the market, right? So people put their money in the bank, lose it. Now, the first one, Silicon Valley, was a bank run. The head people took their money out a week ago, and then everybody took their money out, and there was no money left to give out. That's why that collapse was a bank run. This is the most lethal and what I warn you about. Banks don't have your money in the vault, right? And if everybody at the same time comes for the money, they won't have it. Just like if you're in an ETF of gold or silver. If everybody says, give me my gold or silver at the same time, they don't have it. It's not even they have it anyway. It's just a fantasy that this whole SLV and GLD, they're not even real. They don't have an ounce of gold in them. It's a freaking pyramid scheme. So again, be careful with those. Don't be in those. Get the fuck out of them. Buy your coins before you can. So what they're trying to do with gold and silver is say, hey, look, they're not going up. We're price fixing them really good, but you don't know. You're too stupid. You're the public. You haven't been taught this unless you've been in the professor's class. So therefore, you don't know. So look at gold and silver. Gold went down $8 today, so that's fine. Now you have mass inflation, and why would the bank stocks go up? Because they're undervalued. Oh, all of a sudden, all the banks are solvent now? No bank is solvent. The best is JP Morgan, because they own the silver, is the only reason they are going to survive, but it won't even be the bank. It'll be JP Morgan, who owns all the silver ounces. It's freaking ridiculous. It's funny how like Buffett and JP Morgan own silver, but they don't own gold. It's very confusing to me. That's what you'd rather have, but I guess silver's so cheap, they're buying silver. So I just, we're understanding the game. The game's to get us into digital currency on panic and fear as like 9/11. Oh, look at the 2 trade centers fell. We got to have this whole new part of government, and you got to take off your underwear when you go on a flight and take your shoes off because everybody puts a bomb in their shoe. That's and take your belt off. These are the stupidest things I've ever heard of in my life. Yeah, I got weapons in my belt and in my shoes. I'm wearing tennis shoes. Yeah, where am I hiding a bomb in that? Well, it could be liquid. Yeah, right. Yeah, everybody knows about that. Give me a fucking break. But that's what 9/11 did. It caused this whole Homeland Security Act, which is just another bullshit. So keep that in mind. This is all about everybody will go, we don't trust the banks, so we'll trust the Federal Reserve, who's behind all this, to do digital currency, which is fucking a joke. That's why they're inflating the money, and then they blame Trump, or they blame the feds, or they blame the Russia, or they blame somebody but themselves. This whole inflation thing is strictly you're printing money. This has nothing to do with prices. So they come out and say, oh, it's down a little bit. It's 6% now. Bullshit. It's 20%. If it's 6, it's 20. That's when guys come on here and they go, oh, I hit my basketball games. Yeah. You hit what? One game, 2 games, and lost 5, but you don't want to tell me about the 5 you lost, just the 2 or 3 you win. Everybody bullshits. And I think that's why I'm so honest and give you the games up front, because I'm not a bullshitter, and I don't want you to think I'm a bullshitter. So all I can do is say, here's the games. You've got them on video, and then they win or lose. You know exactly what I did and why. So when I give you the Super Bowl, I gave it to you. There's nothing to hide. I gave you the game, and if it lost, it lost. But we won. So that's what it is. When I play poker, I'm telling you what happened. This is what's disturbing. So again, a third bank now has collapsed, but there are all these small banks you've never heard of. It's not Chase and Wells Fargo, but I don't think they're far behind. But they don't want to panic. They don't want a bank run because they can't FDIC everybody. If they do, they got to print the money, and that's the end of it, because the inflation would be even bigger and non-controllable. And don't kid yourself, when they print $250 billion to give to this Silicon Valley Bank, because it's their buddies, that's inflation. That's printing more money. That's devaluing the money. when I show you this card, why do you think it's worth $200 if it's a 10, which it should be? Because they printed the shit out of these cards. There's got to be a million of these cards. So call that inflation. You overprint, right? You've printed and devalued the card. Well, how do I make this card go up in value? I can. I've already printed the cards. There's nothing I can do. They're out there. How it's worth $250, I don't know, but I'd gladly take $250 for this card. But this is what inflation is. I printed a million of these, and I can't do anything about it. I can't raise interest rates to lower the amount of cards out there and then raise the value. It's impossible. So if I can't do anything, but I printed too many, what am I going to do here? I printed all these Jordans. I printed all these dollars. Raising interest rates is not going to get this card more valuable or this dollar more valuable. What they're hoping is people run back into the bank and buy CDs and give them the money, and they can get rid of the money. Hi, Jay. I paid you $250 for that card. Oh, you can have it. All right, just go on Teaserking and make a payment, or go on PayPal and pay the email. You got it. It's a 10. No problem at all. Let me see. I got, what else? I've got a bunch of interest. I don't know where they are. So let's make a deal. I can throw in this card and this card for $250. So you get all three of these cards. This is 89 hoops. This is the 90 All-Star. You can have all three of them for $250. How about that? But I have a real unique card. I don't know where the hell it is. There's a card I have of here's a shoeless Joe Jackson, but it's not worth anything. It's one of these newer sets where they have the old guys, but that's what he looked like, not like the guy in the movie. Let's see. I have a card where it's got the Menendez brothers in it, and I have a card where it's Sam Vincent and Jordan. That's worth a ton of money. I don't know why, but it is. For some reason, because Jordan's, I think he's in his number 12 uniform. That's worth a lot. What else we got here? Now, this one's worth a lot of money. This is the 50-point club. This is probably about $350. This is a 10. You can see nicely centered, nice sharp corners. I got to put these away. There you go. This is a good one. Jordan with Magic in it. They win the title. That was their first title, I believe. What else do we got? I got an Olympic one. But it's funny, Magic and Bird, they don't get the value that he gets. I can't figure it out. If I got a shitload I can give you relatively cheap. Here's a nice Jordan Supreme Court. This is a couple $100, even though it's out of hoops. Here's a nice Jaeger rookie card. Now, one thing about the Jaeger rookie card, if you're into Jaeger or hockey, there's a fucking error on the back. This is not lined up. And most of the cards are like that, where it should go right under the thing. I do have a few that are lined up, which are worth a hell of a lot more than this one. But this is the error. It's not lined up. How they fucked that up, I don't know. Just amazing. But, Jay, we can work on whatever you like on the Jordans. Here's a Gretzky 2,000 point. You know, these are, here's a nice one. Here's a Lindstrom French. You can see French rookie. That's worth a good $400 or $500. And a Roenick rookie French. So these cards, here's a Patty Roy French card. So I got a few Frenchies. I don't know where. Let me see. I got Aikman in here. I got him. I must have him on the floor. But anyway, I can even throw you a Larry Bird, hoops, mint, perfect. Magic Johnson, mint, perfect. 89 hoops. Whatever you want, get my email on the site, and we certainly can work out whatever you're comfortable with. Anyway, tell me your wish list. I got anything from the mid 80s to the 2000s. So keep in mind, this is part of the plan. They're doing this on purpose. They're trying to make the banks look bad, because if you don't trust the bank, you'll go to the central bank. So it's part of the plan. But we're in gold and silver. And the fact that gold and silver went up $50 the other day, and now it's somehow staying, just shows you it's all JP Morgan writing derivatives. It's not supply and demand. It's not free market. So you got to be cognizant of what's free market and what isn't. So I'm going to get you to, let's go to houses. Well, just 1 second. I don't know how to pause this thing. Hi.
Do you have jumper cables I can use real quick?
Sorry, I don't. Okay. I can drive you somewhere if you need to go.
No, I just want to drive my car to the dealership. I got a car to drive.
Oh, okay.
My mom has my jumper.
Okay, if you need anything normal, I can help you with.
Thank
you need
you.
something. Okay, sorry. That was the neighbor. She needed jumper cables, which I don't have for some reason. I really should. I don't know why I don't. Okay, so what is the market? The market is supposed to be, I want to sell the Jordan card, I get a buyer. We negotiate, that's the market. But in sports cards, there's 100 markets, right? Jay will pay me $250 for the card, done. You got it, Jay. Now, on the other hand, let's say Bobby comes in and says, I'll give you $300. Okay, so I sell it to Jay for $250. I sell it to Bobby for $300. There's 2 different markets, 3 different, 4 different for the same card. So there's many markets in sports cards, and that's okay. And probably in houses and cars and everything else, there's multiple markets. Like Toyota, there's one market. Mercedes, there's another market. Ferrari, there's another market. Ford and GM, there's another market. So you put a price out and hope somebody comes in, and it might be over or under what they want, but that's the market. So let's get into what I just watched. So let's look at trucks. I won't actually get into the video, but I'll tell you, dealers can't sell trucks. New car dealers can't sell trucks. So we'll watch the first minute of this.
The thing that's different about a Verbo vacation home, you always have.
I hate these fucking commercials.
New cars show up at these auctions. I've been seeing a lot of cars that have stickers from the actual new car dealerships. So what I get to also see is that the sellers that are actually running these cars through auction, and I can go to these sellers and see what the problem is. I want to come here, and we're going to go look at these dealerships today. and see why they are not selling vehicles. Now, we know interest rates are up. We know money's harder to get. We know the loans are harder to get. So that's one big piece of it, probably the biggest piece. But I want to come here to these dealerships and see if they're even trying to sell these cars. I want to see what kind of dealer markups they have, if they're still having the dealer markups. I also want to see what kind of bogus fees they're trying to put on top of these MSRPs. Basically, just to see if they're even trying to.
So new car dealers can't sell trucks, $35,000 dealer fee. So in English, the market's here, and they're trying to sell it for $35,000. There's no market for it. You can't sell unless there's a market. Let's go back to Say's law. Say's law says supply creates the demand, not the other way around. You have a car for 35 grand and your market's down here, you're not going to sell any. You got ribs at $45 and it's 35, and I'm only going to pay 25, you're not going to sell any. So this is the basic economic that I am teaching. And this is the way the whole world works. It's all about economics. So you must understand that in everything, in banking, in trucks and houses and ribs, it's all about the market. We come in with, we'll pay, like Jay, I'll pay you $250 for that card. It's yours, Jay. It's all yours. I agree to it. So with that said, you have that, you're fine. But that's what the market bears. So is there demand for the Jaeger card, right? This is rookie. It's worth $100. It'd be worth more if these were aligned. I do have the ones that are aligned, which basically the games played should go under the games played, but there's a lot of these errors. Now, that's still his rookie card, and it's been $200. It's down to about $100. The other one's about $250 for the one where everything's aligned. So is there demand for this? Well, there was. Is there still demand for Jaeger rookie cards? Probably. I mean, there's still demand for Bobby Orr rookies and Mano rookies and Willie Mays rookies. So I would imagine Marino and Montana and Rice, there's huge demand for the rookies. For some reason, it's the first card. I never understood that. Everybody wanted the rookie card. So I started going after the Montana and Rice rookie, although I still went after the 82 Montanas and Peytons, Lawrence Taylors, Ronnie Lott, all those guys. I still went after them. But like Montana, I even got the 83 card and the 84 card and the 86 card. It was like, oh, here's a Montana mint for $2. And then I knew it was mint. It's going to be worth more. And all of them are worth a lot more than the $5 82 tops Montana, his second year that I showed you. It's $1,100. I paid $5 for it. The Peyton I paid $2 for. It's worth, I think, $700 or $800 right now. So anyway, you just got to be able to judge its mint condition. So there's many markets, right? The Montana rookie card is $100 grand, but it might be $80 grand. It might be $120. There's different markets depending on the buyers. In gold, we look at gold as so cheap, it's ridiculous. Silver's even cheaper. I'm going to run and buy 20 ounces of silver when we're done here. So at that point, to me, it's cheap because it's controlled and not in the market, right? So if gold's 2,000 or 1,900, but not in the market, it's by JP Morgan. And this is what I keep stressing. JP Morgan is not the market. It's a fake market. This is why I holler, buy gold and buy silver at these prices. Now you've got the money collapsing. The central bank digital currency is all an act. Oh, look, these banks, and look at them. I never heard of these banks, right? Silicon Valley, I never heard there was a Silicon Valley bank. the Silver Crest or whatever. I never heard of these banks. They're just for startups and mostly cryptos. And so I don't have anything to do with cryptos. I don't want anything to do, and you can see why. Oh, let's do a crypto startup, and oh shit, our bank just closed. I mean, they don't care, but they make it sound like, oh look, and then don't worry, we'll insure you, which means don't worry, we're gonna print money. How else are you going to get the money? So they turn the printing presses on because that's inflation. That is saying this is about $75 because we printed 1 million of these cards. Had we printed 100,000, this card would probably be $300 or $400. Like the 87 flares and the 86 flares were limited and hard to get. You can see how beautifully centered this is. So that's really the difference. So understand that point. So when we look at the trucks at 35,000, nobody wants them, right? I don't even know if they're trying to sell them. I don't understand what that is. I'm not going to watch this whole thing. It's more or less the market, right? That's what I'm saying. You can't sell if you're over market. Ribs, steaks, trucks, houses, whatever it is, you can't sell it. That's just the way it is. So let's go. GM and Ford can't sell trucks. Okay, this is just like Toyota, only they don't do it. What the fuck is this? It's the same thing. If we read it, Ford, GM can't sell trucks. Layoffs have started. They're in trouble. How many times have I said that? I told you about Toyota. You want to sell your Camry at 30 and the market's at 25, you're not going to sell it. Well, what do you think these costs are? I can watch this video later, but I guarantee you they're here and the market's here. Plus, interest rates are higher, so the costs are higher. And people don't have as much money because they're putting more of their money. We're fixed, right? We got X amount of money. And we need to eat, we need to pay rent, we need to pay our utilities and pay our cable, take care of the kids, medical. So we need all that. We don't have an extra. So am I even looking to buy a car or a truck at these interest rates? Hell no. That's why I bought mine in 2018. It was a 2% rate at that time. And it was $24,000. I took out a 60-month loan, but it took me 2 years to pay it off because I paid $700-800 a month to get it paid off because I could see this was coming. So I got out. So now my car is debt free. I just put 4 new tires on it. So I am fine, for that. I need brakes soon, but I don't know. I'm not hearing squeaks, so I'm fine. So as far as that goes, that's taken care of. So now it's just Social Security pays the rent and everything until gold goes up. So say Social Security is my bridge. That's enough money to take care of this. Then my other money helps the girls, pays a credit card that is used to buy gold with because I don't know when gold's happening. And I keep saying I better buy more gold. I don't care if I put it on the credit card. I'll pay it off when gold goes through the roof. I'll have plenty of money to pay the credit card off in 6 months. So what do I care? If I even have to, because of the money going to zero, I might not need to pay it. They might forgive it, but then you got to keep your money out of the bank, which mine is. Now, one thing that disturbs me is I have a friend, and I worked with at Ford 10 years ago, and he moved down to Florida in the DOD, and he's kind of a wacky guy. He's not like Nick and Bobby and you guys. He's sort of out in space, but for some reason we're friends, which I still really don't understand. He's not my typical friend. So I tell him about these bank crashes, and it's like he's not listening, right? I says, you better buy gold now. These banks crashed. And he doesn't respond. And then last night, he texts me, oh, these banks crashed. I'm going to go buy gold tomorrow. I just fucking told you that on Friday the banks are collapsing. And he doesn't listen. Hey, Nick, what's your big upset for the tournament? Oh, I don't really, I didn't get the bracket last night. I got to get it today. I would say, who's that team that beat Xavier or Marquette? I don't know if they're dogs, but I would bet on those guys. Houston, are they going to be upset about losing? I don't know. Alabama, they're good. Avoid the Big Ten, although Penn State could give you an upset. They look like a really good team, Purdue, but I think they're one of the one seeds. I don't know. Pick a team with a really good defense. That would be my upset, just like in the NFL or college, right? Take your Iowa States, take your Washington States, and bet them under. You almost want to bet an over-under versus necessarily an upset, but look at your teams. And I noticed it's funny is Houston was an 80-55, and now they're a 75 something. I can't believe they lost 5 points and they played 3 games. It's really amazing. So I got to redo my stats for that. So I'm going to go to the library, redo the stats, and then pull the bracket, and then I will let you know. We got till Thursday. I don't even look at that. So more importantly, how was your fast, Nick? Are you okay? Or, if you really, really get hungry, drink a bunch of water. If you need to eat something at 11 o'clock or, like, I know it's hard for me to go to sleep. I didn't go to sleep till 5 in the morning because I had a really good, I ate dinner at like 5 o'clock. I had my hamburger omelet. Oh, it's so good. And that was it. And then I went swimming and I got home and, I didn't eat. And I couldn't sleep because I was so awake because I'm so pure right now with that. My foot is 99% healed. And one thing I forgot, a very healthy thing is take a teaspoon of olive oil and take a teaspoon of squeezed lemon. So you get a fresh lemon, the fruit, and cut it in half and just squeeze a teaspoon and then put it in with the olive oil, mix it up. That'll cure everything. That's probably why I haven't had gout in a long, long time. Is I was religiously in the morning having my squeezed lemon with the olive oil, and I think the acid of the lemon kills the gout because I never got it, and I haven't been doing it for some reason, which I don't know why. I have not been having the lemon and the olive oil. And the other thing it does is it curbs your appetite. You do not have an appetite after having, mix a teaspoon of both and then just drink it. It's a little bit, if you get enough lemon in it, it curbs the olive oil. And make sure the lemons are fairly fresh because they can be very sweet, lemon. But anyway, that's what it is. Now, here's what Jay bid on it. So I showed Jay this card, and he says, "I'll give you $250 for it." It's a perfect Jordan 90 hoops card. So as you can see, I'd pay you $250 for that card. That's the card. So I said, "Well, I'll throw in these cards with it." So if you want them, Nick, just give me an offer. I'm not really. I'll sell my sports cards because I got a million of them, but I was really just showing them as market representation. So how is the fast? Are you okay? If 18 hours is too much, try 17 or 16. But if you did the 18 and you woke up, I guarantee you woke up very happy. And by Sunday, you'll see that you're thinner and you'll be like, this is cool. Now, I don't weigh myself. I'm 44 waist. Now I'm 42 waist. Now I'm 40 waist. Now I'm 36 waist. That's it. I can see my stomach's gone. I can see I'm thinner. I know I'm healthier. I'm more awake. I'm not falling asleep. That's the biggest thing when you have high blood sugar or diabetes or insulin resistance. You will have something to eat and fall asleep. That's probably the biggest thing you'll know you have diabetes. So I can eat and not fall asleep now, so I'm pretty happy. But if you start falling asleep, you got diabetes. If you got a big stomach, you've got diabetes, and you're in trouble because you're going to get cancer. You're going to get stroke, you're going to get heart problems, liver and kidney problems that you don't need and you don't have to have if you just avoid the sugar. And not every day, but phase one, Nick's got to go 4 or 5 months without it. Then he comes up to Thanksgiving, a piece of pumpkin pie, and then that's it for a while and back on the regimen. So you always got to get back to the regimen, but you can't have the pumpkin pie, a birthday cake. You've got to be careful with the alcohol. And if you do all that. All right. So let me know, Nick, how you're doing food-wise. So again, GM and Ford can't sell trucks. They're laying off people. How stupid are these companies? Did they think they can raise their price and people are going to run to buy their trucks? And notice, I doubt these are electric. They're probably gas. We've seen Tesla, where I showed you, drop their price from 50 to 27. Who the fuck's buying a car or a truck in this economy? This is my point. So when I did my thesis, I did a direct study. We'll call it a thesis. But basically, once I understood the trade cycle, the Fed lowering rates, this is what happens. They raise rates, this is what happened. And then my thesis was how does that affect the stock market? It was simple. When rates go up, it's more costly. You're not buying cars. You're not buying trucks. You're not buying Caterpillar. You're not buying fixed goods. When rates drop is when you buy them. So now the rates are going up, and what's happening? They can't sell their vehicles. If you're in those stocks, get the fuck out. If you're in the market at all, get the fuck out. It's going to collapse. It's a guarantee. It's a lock. Because this is what, so you own Ford and GM stock. Okay, perfect. What do you think is going to happen to their stock? They can't sell a truck. Their costs didn't go away. They got these plants they have to pay for, the property taxes, the electricity and the heat. They got to pay their board, their indirect labor, their IT, their finance people. That doesn't go away. You can lay them off, but you still need to do tax returns and everything else. So what would happen to their stock? They're going to miss earnings. So their stock's going to get crushed. And people who need money are going to sell the bigger stocks. And the only stocks doing well are the bullshit ones that the Federal Reserve prints money and puts it in, like your Amazon or your Microsoft or whatever, all that bullshit stuff. Now, the other thing is part of the plan. Okay, do we actually think these plans can possibly work? Do we think electric cars with no demand are going to possibly work? Do we think this digital central bank currencies has a chance to work? Do we think any of this bullshit has a chance to work? And I'm saying no. It can be part of the plan. We're going to do a great reset. Well, it sounds wonderful. How many football games have we watched where we say, oh, this team's going to win? Next thing we know, the quarterback throws 2 picks and they lose. Well, how? But it was part of the plan not to throw the interceptions. Oh, wait, he did. That's point of the plan. Part of the plan itself is all bullshit. It's not, what do you guys want? Oh, you guys want electric cars? Oh, we'll make them. No, you can't plan. There's no demand for the electric cars. We're going to build them. And then they're just going to sit like GM and Ford can't sell trucks because they're too expensive. You cannot sell over a market. This is the most critical thing. And this is in every aspect. This is in the banking. So what did the banks do? This one, Silicon Valley, was a bank run. Everybody they probably told them we don't have money. So everybody ran in, pulled their money out. And the poor suckers at the end, oh, there's no money for you. The lady lost $10 million. Then you got this idiot Biden saying, oh, we're going to bail you out. Bullshit. When the money becomes worthless, you can print all you want. You're not bailing me out because you don't have the money. And do you really think they're going to bail them out because Biden says so? Oh, don't worry about your jobs. So if Biden says, don't worry about your jobs, we're going to bail you out, means worry about your jobs and we're not going to bail you out. You know how long that's going to take? Do you want to trust Biden or the government? You got $100,000 in a bank and now you're relying on FDIC insurance and you think you're going to get that? How many years, you think that's going to take? And I got oceanfront property in Detroit. I can sell you. Good luck with that. So again, the market is talking and the market's saying you're too expensive, or I don't need a truck, or whatever. I got to read this one. Basically, it's about me, so I'm going to read this one. The genius mind of a Sigma INFJ. Here's another one. Trucks are too expensive. We have inflation because they printed too much money, which they will forever not tell you. It's prices. We're going to raise interest rates to lower the prices. Hey, you can make interest rates 20%. These are still going to be too expensive, right? Because raising interest rates makes it more expensive. How does that make it less expensive? It just means the people have less money to buy the truck with, if there's even a demand for it. Is there a demand for a truck? Let's say they're normally, look at the Camry. Camry is 25 grand. Now you make it 30. Is there a demand for a Camry at 30? If there was, you would have been selling them for 30 before. The fact your costs went up because of the inflation, meaning the money's lost value. It takes more dollars to buy the same. That's really what's happening, not prices. So even Powell's admitting, well, we're trying to get the prices down. Really? This is what you're trying to do, is get the prices down? I don't think so. But whatever. So I just doubt very seriously any of that. So the head of the Federal Reserve and this Janet Yellen idiot, neither of them understand what the fuck they're doing. They should both be fired. It's just amazing how stupid they are. And the problem is, we all know Keynesian doesn't work. We all know communism doesn't work. And yet the people in charge are Keynesians. Please explain why you would not listen to Adam fucking Smith. It just blows my mind. So I don't understand that at all. Why Adam Smith's proven that's why the country's so great, or it was we used Adam Smith, gold, and the invisible hand and Austrian economics. Now we switched to Keynesian. See, this is the dragon Smog in The Hobbit, right? The dwarfs find the gold and the dragon comes in and steals it. And that's what happens. We make this so inviting because we've built it because it's Austrian economics. And then here come the dragons, the Keynesians, the Powells, I wish it was Boo Powell running it, who come in and steal everything because it's cheap money, right? So they just steal because they don't know how to work. You can see they're morons. So this is the problem with what we have. We have people in charge that should never be in charge. Here's a good note. The Home Depot, I can't read it this way. The gang that can't shoot straight. Home Depot founder rips the Fed acting like a gang that can't shoot straight. So he's saying, Paul, you're an idiot. So I like that one. Let's go. Here's a good one on this network. America's biggest bank failures by the BBC. So this is from Britain. So this tells you more of the truth than what these clowns are going to tell you here. It says those responsible for the mess, beware massive silver screen. This idiot he's been saying this for months. And it's like, okay, we know there's a silver squeeze going on. Get to the point. You got to be careful with this one. Expert warned stock market could crash. Yeah, well, who's the expert? And, give us some reason. So I tend not to watch those. There was one on houses. Let me look at my light. Some of these I put in like because I don't know. One of them, it's talking about the housing market. I might have seen it. See, then I don't like this guy. Oh, he warned investor who predicted the Lehman collapse. Any of you could have predicted that. So he's trying to take credit for doing something. I don't like this guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and he can't explain himself. So you got to listen carefully. And if they talk in gibberish, like Rick Rule and the attorney and all these guys, they don't know what they're talking. Peter Schiff, they don't know what they're talking about because they can't explain it. If they can't talk clear English like I'm talking to you, I never get a question, Howard, I don't understand what you're saying. I've been doing this for what? Well, football I've been doing for years, but this I've been doing probably since October. I have never gotten one question or email saying, Howard, I don't understand. Can you explain it? Because I know my shit so I can explain it in a way you can understand it. That's how you're supposed to teach. And these guys, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Nobody else does. U.S. government moves to stop potential banking crisis. How are they going to do that? The rising interest rates are causing all this because the people for safety didn't lend out the money because nobody can buy a house. So the bank gets 10 grand from me. They loan it out. They don't keep it in the bank. So they loan out 10, they print more money. There's no reserve requirements. So if they don't have anything to loan, they put it in T-bills, something safe. But as interest rates rise, the value of the T-bill drops. That's what happened to Silicon Valley. That's what's happening to all the banks. They're all fucked. They're all in the T-bonds, and it's where else are you going to put the money? That's the twist. Gold. Yet did they do it? Well, they did in Europe. They did in Germany, and China, Russia, and India. Yeah, they put it in gold. Here, gold's no good. Gold's your only friend. Gold's your survival. And they're too stupid to do that. Let's see. Don't watch this guy. He's really struggles explaining anything. He goes to charts. He thinks everything's going back to 2008. Look what happened in 2008. 2008 is totally different than that. That's like saying Oakland played Kansas City. Now Oakland's playing Miami, so it should be the same game. Or look when Oakland played Miami 10 years ago. That probably, I'm going to use that as what's going to happen in this game. Are you out of your fucking mind? You can't go back like that and assume the same thing. Let's see. Well, this looks like a good one. This guy's shutting down Marcon. I hate Marcon. He's the French president, another communist. And he says he shuts down Marcon at a press conference. Marcon trying to deflect. So again, they're making the lies, blaming Trump or whoever. Anyway, there's one on this guy I wouldn't listen to either. He's another criminal. He was behind that FTX collapse. What does he know? So he's on Shark Tales or whatever. So you got to be careful who you're listening to. Just because Maloney had help putting his little chapter 10s, then he says, I'm selling a book. I wouldn't buy the book. If he gave it to me and paid me $100, I wouldn't read his book, his garbage. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He can't explain bullshit. So you've got to be careful with these guys. Just trust me. You're going to want to ask about gold and silver. And if they don't follow it or can't explain it or don't realize there's a difference between the derivative market and the physical market, why would you spend any time? Okay, yesterday I'm in the hot tub, me and the communist. That's it. Everybody else was out. The communist sits in front of me, probably to try to get my attention, probably to talk to me, because he probably doesn't understand why I'm not talking to him. Well, what am I going to say? You're a communism. Why would I have any conversation with you? There's nothing I want to have a conversation. I'm not going to defend capitalism and free market and Adam Smith. I don't need to defend it. You won't listen to it, and you're trying to teach me about Karl Marx. That's a waste of my time. We're not friends. I will never socialize with you, and I don't have any desire to speak to you because you're a communist. If you're that stupid, why do I want to talk to you? Now, a lot of it's my INFJ, seeing bullshit and not wanting to get involved. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to waste my energy. See, when I'm on here, I'm giving you my full energy. And when I get done after 2 or 3 hours, I'm exhausted. And then I got to go eat and turn on a movie and rest for an hour. Then I go swim. And, so I have dinner. I need to rest because I put so much into this that it reduces my energy level. I don't want to waste energy on a communist. If he was more like, can you teach me economics? I thought communism was right, but, can you help me? If he would have came with that, I might have helped him. But he comes defending Karl Marx, and it's for the workers. And I'm like, you don't understand anything. It's division of labor. The worker gets what his skill set pays. If you're a doctor, that's what the doctor gets paid. If you're in finance or IT, what do they get? That's what it's about. It's got nothing to do with the CEO stealing all the money. So I just laugh at that. So I don't give him the time of day. I just kind of look to the side. I know he's there and I just totally ignore him. I know he wants to talk because I can feel it, but I don't have anything to say to him. And I don't really give a fuck. I don't care. Now, if I didn't know the person, I would say, how you doing? And we can discuss. But otherwise, I have nothing to say. He's a communist. I don't have anything to say to him. And nor should you. If you find out, if somebody comes to you and says, I'm a communist, I'd fucking run. I mean, the only, what are you going to learn from them? So you got to look at it in terms of learning and not learning, and how is he going to make your life better? How is he going to educate you? You don't want to listen to a communist. Why? I mean, I read Karl Marx. Oh, great. Yeah, I really want to hang out with you. We can talk Karl Marx. Oh, my God. Yeah, communism's really good. Yeah, basically everybody gets fucked and sent to concentration camps and murdered like the Russians did in World War II and fucked up Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, and Turkey. And a lot of these countries from World War II, Russia fucked up because they empowered communism in those. So where socialism's bad and fascism's bad, communism's bad too. Anything where the government's trying to control you is bad. And free market capitalism, laissez-faire economic capitalism, you've got the power. And that's what we want, is to control our own. That's why I get very upset when I got to wear a mask. I don't want to wear a mask. I might catch COVID. I doubt it. I fast. If I have COVID, I'm fasting for 3 days, then I'll get rid of it. My body will cure me from COVID. I don't want to wear a mask because I think it's made up, and I think the odds of me getting it very healthy are very, very slim. Just like with my foot, I do a couple day fast and it gets better. Your body will fix everything. So I just trust my body. But I don't want to be told to wear a mask. That's bullshit. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Liberty is freedom. So you want your freedom. I'll choose if I should wear a mask or not. So you could say, yeah, it's up to you to wear a mask or not. I'm at Toyota in Alabama and they wanted me to wear a mask. I wore it like down here and they got mad at me and I said, fuck you. I'm not wearing a mask. Wow. If you want me to wear a mask, I'll work from home then. If it's that deadly that everybody's going to die from it, I'll work from home. Oh, you can't work from home. Then get off my back with the mask. So that was another problem going down there and the Japanese trying to control you. I once was walking to a meeting. I had my hands in my pocket because I had to walk outside and it was like 30 degrees. And some manager, Japanese guy, pulls my hand out of my pocket. I almost killed him. I literally almost took my hand and placed it around his neck and said, do that again and you're going to die. That's how close I was. Like, who the fuck is touching my hand in my pocket? And where do you get off touching my hand in my pocket? That's assault, man. These guys do not trust Japanese. I don't care. They are not mature adult people. They do not like Americans. So if anybody's racist, the Japanese towards the Americans, they still think, they're still 1945 with the bomb. They still think that. But I was being assaulted by them and I didn't like it. And I didn't care that I worked there or not. And, when I left, they gave me a severance package and apologized. And I said, this is ridiculous. But so there was no freedom there. I worked at Mercedes for the Germans for 4 years. Nobody ever touched me. Nobody ever pulled. There was no rules. You can't put your hand in your pocket. There was no rules of any of this shit. I could understand if I worked in the plant and you're worried about a lawsuit if I get hit by a robot. I'm in a fucking finance department. I'm not on the floor. I'm in the office. What the fuck are you talking about? So very stupid. Don't ever work for the Japanese. I don't know why they feel they need to control Americans, but there's a big bias. The Japanese people got treated very differently than the Americans. And they did not respect my skill set and my masters. And it really pissed me off. And not knowing I was an INFJ, I can understand why. I don't take that bullshit, right? So if you come at me like that, I'm going to shut you out, which is what I did. So I basically stopped talking to most of the people there. It's like me in the hot tub. I don't talk to most of the people in the hot tub. I just laugh at them. Oh, you're a communist. Well, no, I ain't talking to you. Anyway. So that's what you got to realize. It's supposed to be about freedom. That's what we're here for. So that's why there's no point in it. Anyway, again, the housing market is collapsing because, again, the housing prices are $400 with a 10% mortgage, which makes it $500,000. Who do they think they're selling it to? So believe me, it's expensive. If you are BlackRock and you own these houses, you still pay the mortgage on it. You still are paying the utilities. You're still keeping the maintenance up. You're still mowing the lawn, and you're not getting anything for it. So BlackRock thinks they're going to corner the housing market or buy them from the Chinese cheaply and then mark them up, and they think people are going to run to them. They're out of their fucking minds. I hope BlackRock, I see where they're going bankrupt, and I can't wait. And I can't wait till Warren Buffett. Now, he won't go bankrupt. He's going to lose $2 billion. But he's got silver. So he was clever enough to buy silver, just like JP Morgan doesn't have gold, but he has a lot of silver. Now, I don't know if that's personal or at the bank, and I don't know if these are related to ETFs or what the fuck it is. Hard to tell if it's JP Morgan or the company that actually has it. And again, same thing with Berkshire Hathaway. Is it Buffett's or is it the company's? My guess it's the company. But if I was running a big company, GM or Ford or Toyota, my money would be in gold. I wouldn't even be producing cars. I wouldn't give a fuck. Now I know at my coin store, the guy sells the stuff cheap. Like he's selling silver for 25 and I laugh at him. What the fuck you selling it for 25 for? Well, I got to pay the bills. So my business is to buy an item and, let's say this is silver. I got to buy this silver. So it costs me 20. I got to sell it for 25 to keep the lights on. Even though I know that it's going way up and I question that going, I would have very little for sale of silver. I would sell other things. I would maybe the Liberty heads at 35. I would mark them down. But you got to be kidding, especially when he gets them cheap. So if he pays spot for the Liberties and he pays $20, he should be selling those for 25, not 35. And that's where I take offense to it. Like, okay, if you buy them from the men at $30, you're selling them for 35. I understand that. But if you're buying them from a customer and you're giving them 20, why aren't you selling those for 25? Well, I got to make a profit. Okay. So anyway, that's where I question it. But again, everything's market. Market means what two people, one guy's selling and one guy's buying, and the market is the selling price. When you go to the grocery store, they put a thing, Coca-Cola, $2.99 for a 2-liter. And then the market votes, and the market says that's too expensive and we're not selling it, or the market says, yeah, I'll buy one. And then Coca-Cola takes back and says, well, what's the market doing? It's not selling, it's too expensive. So then they either go, okay, we'll lower the price, or they'll say, you know what, if you buy 2, we'll give you the third one free. So we'll get $6 for 3 bottles. So we're basically making it $2 a bottle because we know people are going to buy more than one. So we get 3 bottles off our inventory. And some people do it, but really, should you be drinking 3 bottles of regular Coke? Yeah. And then we wonder why you have diabetes. So you got to get away from that. But that's how the market works. So it's something's placed. Does somebody want it? That's why I laugh at Tesla. There's no demand for your electric cars. None at all. So therefore, you're going to sell them from 50,000 to 27,000. So now you've discovered at 50,000, you're not selling it. Now it's at 27 and your stock's going up. Well, wait a minute. How did you get 50,000? That must have been your cost plus your 20% markup. Your cost must be 40 grand, including plant and labor and taxes and the people and everything else. So now you're saying you can sell them at 27 and make profit? I find that hard to believe. Oh, let's buy Tesla stock. Well, who's buying it? Your Federal Reserve bullshit people, your JP Morgans. They're printing the money and putting it in a Tesla because who has Tesla? JP Morgan, Warren Buffett, Vanguard guy, BlackRock guy. They're buying the stock in those. And so that's where the money goes. So if you want to know where the money's going, just type in BlackRock or type in Warren Buffett or Vanguard and see their stock holdings. And you'll see the same Walmart and Disney and Coca-Cola. And those will go up because that's when the Fed prints the money is where they put it. It's totally illegal. It's totally not market. I mean, if the Fed buys, this card for $1,000 when the market's not 1,000, what the fuck are you doing? These aren't thousands. These are, I don't know, $200, $300 cards, not 1,000. But if the Fed buys them and pushes the price up, or in gold and silver pushes the price down with derivative stock, then you have to realize that's not a market. It's a fake market. That's why I say ignore the paper market. It's not real. Russia, China will get us to a real market. And believe me, you got a bank run, you got high inflation, gold would have went up $20,000 in a heartbeat, especially worldwide, right? China, Russia, and India would have pushed it through the roof. But no, gold went down. That doesn't make any sense. How can Orioles and Coca-Cola go up, but gold doesn't? That just is ridiculous. So people are really stupid. But you can't blame them because they're not educated, right? This is why I do this class. People don't have a clue what they're doing. So I told my friend, and it was really like I was a little bit pissed, like, Friday night, these banks are going out. Or I talked to him Saturday. Okay, whatever. I don't even know if he's listening. Then yesterday he gives me a text. Oh shit, 2 banks just went out. I'm buying gold today. I'm like, I told you that like Saturday. Don't you fucking listen? So I said, you got to it's going to the moon. You got to buy as much as you can before you can't buy it. So now he's listening. He says, what do I do with it? I go, you have no choice. You cannot buy another currency. You're not going to buy into a Bitcoin. You're not going to buy stocks because they're on the way down. Your only choice is gold now. So stocks are out and Bitcoin's out. So your only choice is gold. I think Bitcoin collapsed too, or something got hit pretty hard. But that's kind of like, well, I guess all the cryptos got hurt with the banks because they're in the banks, all these startups and everything. So they're all don't have any money. All these crypto startups. So the whole thing's a scam, right? I'm going to do crypto. What the fuck is crypto? Oh, it's money. It's not money. Anybody that believes crypto is money is out of their mind, or crypto's gold is out of their mind. Gold's gold. You can put it in your hand. It's gold. It's gold. There's no substitute. There's no competition for gold. This is not competition for gold as much as JP Morgan wants it to be. It isn't. So what else do I got? So gold today is down a few dollars on COMEX. It's thank you. I'm going to go buy more. What does it take for gold to finally go? It's bricks. And that's really the question of what does it take? We know gold's not priced fairly. We know it's being held by JP Morgan down with the derivatives. What does it take for JP Morgan to finally let go? And what does it take for everybody to stop listening to JP? So this is what I don't understand. Why is JP Morgan setting the price? We all know it's bullshit. Why are we listening to it? Hey, Bobby Bo, just teaching our class. I got an offer for the Jordan card. So Jay Bradley wants the card for $250. I got more of them though. So if you want, here's a real good one. We can do $250. They're all PSA 10s, as you can see. They're perfectly centered, cornered, nice pictures, and they're all Michael Jeffrey Jordan. They're $250. I'll sell them to you for $200, Bobby. How about that? Anyway, we're talking about markets. So I showed where they're not selling trucks because they're too expensive and the interest rates are too high. Then I'm looking and the market's up today. And the excuse is, well, now the Fed will have to slow the interest rates. Oh, that's going to make the market go up because the Fed goes from 5.25 to 5. This is what we've been waiting for. Now we're going to run into the stock market because why? You've killed the economy. Lowering the interest rates is not going to help the economy going down 0.25%, and everybody's buying stock. This is what's bullshit is this makes Madoff look like a Boy Scout. This whole bullshit exercise. I mean, I'm looking, why is the stock market? You got 3 bank runs now. You got a third one, the Silverstone or something. So now you've got 3 banks that are out of business, but they're all this crypto bullshit startup banks that I've never heard of. Oh, this is the largest, the 5th largest bank in the U.S. I'm like, never heard of it because it's startup. It's crypto starting up, needing money. What? It sounds like a scam. The whole way sounds like a scam. So that's really the point. We've just got to look at it and go, I'll buy more gold. And again, waiting for the gold to finally go up, which it will. And you just got to be patient. I think by April, I think that's the key date. All this is part of whatever plan. If they could actually make the plan work, I doubt it. But that's what you have. So you basically are looking at this whole mess is about going on the central bank digital currency because we can't trust banks and our money's all inflated. So this is going to zero. So you must get on central bank digital currency, which is it's a Madoff anyway. If it's not backed by anything, you don't know how much out there. Now they're going to tell you can't fly to Switzerland to sell your gold. Really? So we don't want that. We don't want to lose our freedom. So that's one reason we don't want it. We don't want to be controlled. That's another reason we don't want it. So we need to buy more gold and silver. But anyway, so my friend I'm talking about, he finally sees the light. I've been telling him for a year, buy gold and silver. Yeah, I don't know if he listens or not. So now he's like last night, I'm going to go buy gold and silver today. Well, welcome to the party. Like a year, almost 2 years late. I've been telling my friends for 2 years now. I've been out of the market. I'm knowing this collapse should have happened a while ago. And again, JP Morgan's holding the COMEX price down. The CPI magically came in at exactly what they said. Really? Hard to believe that could happen, right? Oh, they said 0.5 and it was up 0.5. Yes, it's exactly as predicted. Really? Are you having the script ahead of the announcement? Of course. So they announce CPI up 0.5 and it goes up 0.5. No surprise. How could there be a surprise when they're telling them what's gonna, this is what you're gonna report. So they think inflation's going down because they say, oh, it went from 6.1 to 6.0. Doesn't work that way. There's no fucking way inflation's down. They don't even know how to measure it, and they don't even understand what it is. It's not prices. How about that? Anyway, my next note is idiots in charge. So we have Powell, who is clueless, doesn't even know what inflation is. Yellen's a moron. Well, we know Biden doesn't know what day it is. So I love it when Biden comes out to talk. He doesn't know what day it is. And then we're going to stop inflation. And don't worry, all you employees, you're going to get, you'll be safe at work. How the fuck does he know? He doesn't run the banks. Yeah, you can't run the company. He can't even run his house. What the fuck does he know? So I find that extremely non-believable. And anyway, so we have idiots in charge. We have to realize that and ignore everything they say is staged. They don't want chaos, so they try to calm everybody down. Just go buy gold and silver. How upset were you guys who owned the gold and silver when they announced this? I just laughed. I said, good, my gold will finally go up to 40,000 an ounce. Because I went into the bank Monday and she said, can we help you? I said, I just want to see if you're open and I don't see a bank run. Okay. I know what's going on. You don't know who you're fucking with. You're fucking with the professor. I know what's going on. So then she said, well, is there anything else we can do for you? And I said, no, all my money's already out. I protected myself. So just wanted to see what's going on. If there is a bank run, if you're closed, you're not. Okay. But I wanted to go into the bank to see for myself. Now I checked today, and that's the first thing you need to do is check your bank. Okay. It's still there. I still have money. Okay, fine. Professor, I'm eating avocado and ribs at the same time. Ew. Ribs are good. Are these pork or beef or pig? Well, I guess that's pork. I like the beef ribs. I got some ribs in the freezer I was going to have for my birthday. Bad news is the ribs came out a bit salty as I tried a new spot. You were at a restaurant. Yeah, that's a shame. They serve avocados at this restaurant? Yeah, that's the problem that's what I say about switching girlfriends or switching restaurants. You know what you have with your one. So if you're happy with it, don't change. If you're unhappy, date a few more at the same time, and then you can decide which, okay, this is the competition. This is what I like. Same thing with restaurants. So you try a bunch, so you won't go back to this one, and you go back. That's why I go to the same Chinese every week, because I know it's General Chow. It's going to be delicious. Very healthy, and I eat that every Saturday because they're closed Sunday. It's a nice weekend thing. Like tonight, I got hamburgers left. Um, One thing I did for my gout, Bobby, was I took a tablespoon of lemon, squeezed lemon and olive oil, mixed it up. I used to eat it all the time and I never got gout. And for some reason I got off of it. And now I've gotten gout 3 times in 6 months. And now I took some yesterday. All of a sudden my foot's fine. So I think the lemon juice, it's like acid and base or whatever. I don't know. But I think the lemon juice kind of maybe kills the gout or kills the acid, which maybe makes sense. I don't know. But I'll keep drinking the lemon juice. I used to do it all the time. I used to see that it was a really good thing and I was very healthy. So it's just a little teaspoon of olive oil and squeeze a lemon. Just cut the lemon in half, squeeze a little bit onto the spoon, and then mix it up and then drink it. And you'll be surprised how healthy you get and how you won't get too hungry because that kills your appetite. The olive oil and the lemon, believe me, you're not eating. You're not very hungry. Anyway, so we have idiots in charge. So you got to realize that whatever they say, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Just keep to your own thoughts. That's why it's hard to watch the bullshit. Just say, I got gold, I got silver. Can I buy more? Buy more before the price goes up. This is shit that's going to make the price go up. People all over the world are laughing. My girlfriend's laughing in the Ukraine going, these people lost 260 billion, and she's laughing. And I said, this is why we own gold and silver. And she says, you're a smart man. And I says, of course. So that's why I'm giving you the coins, is to help you and protect you. So if the shit hits the fan, you've got the gold and silver. She talked about crypto. I said, no, you don't want crypto. It's a scam. I says, you want to be gold and silver is gold and silver. You can walk into a coin store with that half ounce of gold I gave you, and you're going to walk out with thousands of dollars. How are you going to get rid of your crypto? Who are you going to sell it to? Or if you do sell it, where are you going to go? You're going to go to the bank to collect on it? I said, that's why we have the coins. It's physical. You have them. And if you need, I said, go. She said, I can sell them electronic. Yeah, go on eBay or just go to the coin store. You'll get a little bit more on eBay, but yeah, sure. Go do that. I said, that's why I gave them to you, for your protection. That's why I buy more. That's why I don't give you as much money, because I'm buying gold and silver. My Romanian girl doesn't get that. She wants money and she cries and she, I'm never talking to you again. You're going to be all alone. And I go, well, except for my pregnant best friend in Romania and my girlfriend in Ukraine and my girlfriend in Russia. Yeah, I'll be alone. Oh, okay. And then my class, I says, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm never alone. And I go, you keep gold. This is the gold digger. And I just keep laughing at her. I go, you're pretty funny. And she insults me. And I go, well, why would I give you money? You insult me. And I took you on all these trips and you're a fucking gold digger. I don't want anything to do with you. Anyway, so that's what she's saying. And I says, that's why I gave you the coins. That's your protection. That's why I'm telling you, just, if you need to spend it, but don't spend it yet. It's going to be worth a lot more. My fear is she sells one of the half ounces. I gave her 2 half ounces and a quarter ounce. And I gave her, I think, probably has 6 or 7 ounces of silver. At first I gave her 1 ounce. Then last time I gave her 5 ounces and another half ounce of gold. And so she's got an ounce and a quarter. Well, when that thing hits the fan, she'll be very, very wealthy in the Ukraine. So again, the third bank crashed. Now, I've never heard of these small banks doing these startup loans and crypto loans, so I don't know. I don't think they know what the fuck they're doing. They're getting surprised by interest rates, shows they don't know economics. If you know economics, they're going to keep raising interest rates because the guy's trying to stop inflation. Very easy to predict. I hate when people say you can't predict it. I'm like, well, fucking watch my show. I predict this shit all the time. Now when they turn, they'll turn down. That's the trade cycle. And when they turn down, the inflation is going to go through the roof. And again, it's the malinvestments. It's the making an electric car with no demand. It's all there. So I don't really get that. So keep in mind, make sure you check your bank balance, and if you're getting deposits in or you're paying bills, make sure they're going through. And just be careful. Check your bank balance and get your money out of the bank. Leave a little bit for a few months' bills. That's it. Gold again. Gold's going like through the roof. Silver. After the show, Bobby, I'm off for another 20 ounces of silver. Glad I got my tires yesterday. So I don't. That's an expense. They're $83 a tire, but really $105 because they charge $20 to install them times 3 tires. So that's how I went from 240 to 300 real quick. Is the tire? We got to install them. Jesus Christ, really? So gold, we all know, silver is going up. I was watching. Now this will really. I was going through Tubi and I stumbled onto Enron, and I said, I really had no desire to watch it, but I said, well, I watched Madoff, which I didn't have a desire to watch either. It's amazingly similar, Enron and Madoff. They're both scamming. They're both guys that are trying to intimidate you. They're both Heckle and Jekyll characters, or Jekyll and Hyde characters. They both can be nice and they both can be brutal. It was appalling to watch Enron, what they did, and fucked over all the people they fucked over. They deliberately shorted the electricity in California by downing the power grids because they were Enron. They were electricity and natural gas. They did it on purpose. So all these brownouts and blackouts in California, I don't know, is this 80s or 90s or whatever, they did it on purpose. So people and then what they were trying to do, Say's law, was lower supply to get the price up. So they're looking to make money. They're going, well, if we cut the supply to California, we then can raise the price, because if supply is down, and if demand's here and you cut supply to here, the price goes up because everybody wants it. But it's like a mantle card, right? There's only a few mantle, there's 20 PSA 10 mantles, so it costs you $1 million, $2 million, $3 million to buy it. That's what they were doing. So if the supply of mantles went from 25 PSA 10s to 2,000, the price would come down. Well, that's what they did at Enron for electricity to California. They lowered the supply. The demand didn't go down because everybody needed it. And they were causing blackouts on purpose and laughing about it. Oh, my God. And then they constantly lied. This chairman, if I ever met him on the street, I'd probably do a stunner on him and a pile driver or something, Bobby. I would take the guy out. What a motherfucker. Now, what scares me is this is the norm, right? So what I realized being an INFJ, watching this, digging in, going, what's really going on? This is another motherfucker from Harvard, like Zuckerberg. These guys are fucking nuts. This goes back to what, what's the guy? Kissinger. Kissinger got this whole program at, I think, Harvard or Yale or wherever, where he's teaching about leaders. George Soros, this Klaus von Hess or whatever he is, the Nazi. And here goes Zuckerberg goes there, and here goes this Enron guy. And they all have this pinky in the brain, take over the world mentality, screw everybody else. And this is the problem. So these people are going to Harvard. I assume they have money. So what are they being taught? They're being taught communism. They're being taught control people. They're being taught it's all about money and hurt the little guy. Have no compassion. So we've seen this with Madoff. I don't know if he went to Harvard. We see it with Madoff. We see it with Enron. We see it with JP Morgan. They're a prime example of people trying to fuck everybody over, mostly with gold. But even JP Morgan was involved with Enron. So they're involved with Madoff, they're involved with Enron, and they're involved with gold. Why is Jamie Dimon not in prison or dead? Because he probably runs a mafia family. And that's what his job is to, he's the money man. Like if you watched the movie Casino and the little twerp was in charge, was just there for the name. I think that's what's going on here. This guy is the biggest criminal in the world. I mean, every time you have fraud and every time you have these Ponzi schemes, he's behind it. So Enron was just, they were cooking the books. People would ask, it was just like Madoff. People would ask, how are you making your money? And he'd say, don't ask. And again, if people are making money, what doesn't work here, I'm actually giving you football winners. But if I'm telling you to do something and you're making money and you ask me, how are you doing it? And I say, I can't tell you, it's a Ponzi scheme. So that's the bottom line. The Ponzi scheme is if you ask and you get shoved back, don't ask, or don't ask, don't tell, or how are you making 10%? Just shut up, we're making it. Run as fast as you can, get the fuck away. This is why we buy gold and silver. We're going to make far more on a percentage with no risk, no Ponzi scheme. We don't have to listen to anybody telling us, well, don't ask me how I'm making you the money. I just am. That's the real point. Whenever these are like code words. Don't ask me how I'm making money. Just be glad you're making the 10%. Don't ask how or why. They were looking at his financials going, it's the same thing every quarter. How can this be? You can't do that because there's fluctuations. So Enron's the big star, and then they were cooking their books the whole time. And if you read their financials, the key to reading a financial statement for investment or to see the strength of a company is cash flow from operations. If cash flow from operations is positive, that's a good company. If it's negative, run. Now, the other factor we have is we don't know if the statistics are real because these guys are cooking the books. So they're making it sound like these numbers are real. That's the other problem. These numbers are not real. So you're trying to read the financials and the numbers aren't real. If the numbers aren't real, how do you read the financial statement? So you're looking at numbers that does this 100 million, right? You don't have no idea. And then they'll say, well, they're audited. So you trust the auditor, but the auditor's in the back pocket. Arthur Andersen's out of business now because they were in bed with them. Now the banks were in bed with them, but the banks get to slap JP Morgan. Oh, too bad. Okay, pay $1 million fine, which you're going to go print off the Federal Reserve because you own it. You'll print the billion and pay. I mean, to fine JP Morgan is the stupidest thing in the world. All that does is cause inflation. So I'm watching, and it's Madoff. It's the same as Madoff. And then I'm thinking, well, how many other companies are like this? So now the only way that this is why I don't buy stock, because I don't believe any of it's real. I'm too smart. I know the books can be cooked, which they usually are. I know there's no fucking way any of this is real. It's all a mirage. That's why when I buy the gold stock, and I tell you I buy 1,000 shares of Newmont Mining at 10.15, and then because I don't trust it. And I know it's going down is not market. And so therefore, if it's not market, it's being played with. So when it starts moving, then I buy. If you notice, it'll go down to $40 at 10 o'clock. Then it goes up to 41. Then I buy. I wait for it to go up. Then it hits 42. I get the fuck out. Or 41 and a half. I get the fuck out. If I make $500, some days I made $300. It's up 30 cents. It starts coming down. I get the fuck out. So as soon as I see the algorithm turn, I get out. Now I've had days I hit double. Goes to 40, goes up to 41. I buy it. Goes up to 42 and a half, starts falling down. I sell it. Goes down to 40, turns around, goes back to 41. I buy it again. So I could buy it. I could buy and sell by 11 and then buy and sell by 2:30. And I'll have twice. I'll get in and get out, get in and get out with profit. And I know it's fixed, so I am not looking at that. I heard some guy yesterday talk about gold stocks, and he says, "Oh, these are way undervalued." No, they're not. They're being held down. They're being manipulated. They're not undervalued. So people will run in buying them at 40, thinking they're going to go back to 60. It's a lie. They're manipulated. So we got to get all the manipulation crap out of the system. The problem is Wall Street is all made off. It's all crooked. The government is run by Wall Street and banks and JP Morgan and BlackRock and the guy from Vanguard and Buffett. This is the problem. So if you want to get your money, you want 100 grand in your bank, you want to put it in a mutual fund, say goodbye to your money. So now I'm realizing you can't go into stocks. They're not going to survive because once these guys need the money, they're selling. And they're going to sell first. There was a thing at the end of Enron. It's on Tubi if you want to watch it. At the end, it says all the guys lost their pensions. So one guy had $350,000. He sold it and got out with $1,200. But the officers of the corporation got $55 million. Okay, that is the problem with stocks. And especially mutual funds, because the guys in charge who know what's going on are going to dump. And you're going to be left holding the bag. This is the problem. And I think the two best things to be in are gold and silver and betting football games. We can analyze football games that maybe are fixed to a point, but not in a teaser. So the spread's 8. You can win by 7, but no more. But we tease it down to 2. We win in the teaser. That's the beauty of the teaser. It takes away the fix because they're never fixing it for teasers. They're not saying, okay, the spread's 8. You can win by 1, but no more. You can win by 7 and no more. That's the beauty of the teaser. We have a better chance of winning in football than you do in stocks. Okay. Oh, you're in Tesla. Oh, until they can't sell the car. Because there's no fucking market for it because nobody wants the electric vehicles. This is what's happening. But you don't know that, right? How many people know there's no demand for electric cars? Us, Bobby, Nick. I mean, our class. But that's not enough, right? And I hope you're telling friends and explaining to them or having them join, then fine. But if you're not, then most people are blind to it. They don't know what, they don't know what markets are. They certainly don't know Say's Law. They certainly don't know you're trying to sell something, there's no demand for it. Nobody knows that. Very few people understand that the electric cars are not a demanded product. And therefore, why would you invest in it when there's no demand? The only way a company makes money is their demand for the product. Coca-Cola, yeah, there's huge demand. Even though the regular Coke's killing millions of people because of the sugar, but that's okay. I saw a little ad on the internet. I was scrolling through Google and it basically said, oh, sugar's not the reason for diabetes. I'm like, okay, yeah, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Let's see, what do we got here? That's my friend scared shitless. I said a third bank crashed. So he's finally. It took 3 banks to crash for him to believe me. Right? Why can't you just believe me? Why does it take 3 banks to crash? That's what I don't understand. Oh, now I believe Howard. Well, fuck, what do you think? I'm lying to you? I don't make anything. Moody's places 6 U.S. banks on review for downgrade. Here we go, boys and girls. Moody places 6 banks to be downgraded. Let's see what they are. Let's see if there's any banks that. Oh man, really? It's the Epic Times and it wants me to like. First Republic, and see, then it goes to this. It wants me to join. Continue reading for free. Yeah, fuck you. I don't do that. So we'll find it. It'll be on YouTube. So here's a lie. U.S. inflation eases, but stays high, putting Fed in tough spot. The Fed are under the belief that raising interest rates lower inflation, which it doesn't. What does it say? U.S. consumer prices increased. U.S. inflation eases but stays high, putting Fed in tough spot. Well, you're not measuring it right. It's not about prices. It's about printing the money. January's 0.5% rise, yet excluding, why aren't we including food, energy, the core prices? So the non-essentials, rose 0.5%. The Fed pays particular attention to the core measure as they gouge on underlying inflation pressures. They don't even understand what inflation is. The Fed could raise its benchmark interest rate, but everybody's believing it won't raise the rate. The Fed's killing the economy by raising the rates. They're just too fucking stupid. And they don't understand interest rates don't affect inflation anyway. And that's it. Not a much there. So anyway, so the Fed doesn't get it. If you want me to believe that, oh, the Fed's going to stop raising rates, I'm going to go buy stocks, you're out of your mind. So as I was saying, the whole Wall Street is run by JP Morgan and the Madoffs and the Enron guys. To you, it's in every company. Every company cooks their books. And then you say, well, the SEC looked at them and it was a clean bill of health. They're in on it. Well, Arthur Andersen audited Enron. They're in on it. They got paid $1 million a month. This was fascinating. So they got paid $1 million a month to shut up. They took the money and shut up. What is wrong with people? Bobby, if your job's to play third base or first base, I don't remember which position, and you're there to catch the ball, and there's a ground ball hit to you, but I'm going to pay you $1 million to let it go through your legs. You're going to let it go through your legs, or are you going to catch the ball? Now, remember, the Mets are paying you to catch the ball, but JP Morgan's paying you $1 million a month to let the ball go through your legs because they're going to bet on the other teams. What do? I guarantee you cannot be that stupid and take JP Morgan's $1 million to let the ball go through your legs. You must stay with the Mets who have your contract. I don't know. That's the moral issue here. Or do you strike out and hit 150 because JP Morgan wants you to lose? It's like the natural, right? I bet against you, Bobby. I want you to strike out. Here, I'm going to pay you $1 million. Do you strike out? It's the natural, right? So, Bobby, you're the natural. So what do, Bobby? And what Arthur Andersen did is they ignored what they're supposed to do and took the money and fucked everybody over because they'd say, oh, no, this is a clean bill of health. So people invested in the company. And Arthur Andersen was lying, and now they shredded all these documents, and now they're out of business. And believe me, Price Waterhouse and Deloitte Touche, they're all crooks too. It's like Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. Everybody has their price. This is why you cannot look at anybody's financial statement and believe it. This is what I see. I must have uncovered something at the last job where I looked at the inventory and said, this is garbage. And I probably wasn't there. I was probably never supposed to figure it out, but I'm so brilliant. I did figure it out. And I said, oh, this inventory is not, he says it's $1.6 million, it's 500,000. Oops. Well, we got to let Howard go. He uncovered it. And it was probably a scam where they were going to pay the guy himself. I really think this out. My company was buying this guy out. He's saying inventory is $1.6 million. They were going to give him $1.6 million, and he was going to give them back $1 million. That is what happened in my world. Sorry, I gotta. So now that I think about it, now that I see all this, I always thought that where I was working was crooked. I always, after watching Madoff, I was firmly in belief that the president of the little company was Madoff, that he was cooking the books and hiding things. And then there was a bunch of inventory that was crap in the back. I says, are we paying for it? And the CFO like, yeah, we're paying for it. And I'm thinking, why would you pay for engines that'll never be used? So it was the most unusual thing. So it sounded like a bunch of cooking. So my guess is they're going to pay this guy, $5 million for his company, which is all bullshit. And he's going to pay them back $2 or $3 million. This is my guess. So that's how they're making their money, not on the company, because it doesn't make sense. I'm going to buy this piece of crap company that you have an owner in charge and you got people in high school running it, and you're gonna turn it around for fucking rollers that nobody's gonna want. Like, the whole thing made no sense. And I ripped my boss good when I left, and he let me go. I ripped him. I mean, if you ever wanted to like talk back to your boss, but you can't because it's work. Once he let me go and he said, here, we'll give you severance and unemployment. Once he said that, I ripped him a new asshole. I bet he's never been talked to like that before. This is one of these guys from the East Coast. When I looked at his background, I don't understand how he's the CFO. I met the CEO, and he looked like an idiot too. I never forget when I met him. He says, "Oh, don't you know who I am?" I go, "No." "Oh, I'm the president." I said, "Oh, okay, wonderful. Who cares? Like, I'm the Teaserking, so you should be bowing to me, not the other way around." I don't know. Why would I know who you are? I've never met you before. Why would you say that? Say, "Hi, I'm Joe Blow, and you're the professor, and welcome to the team." But you don't want to let me in on it. So I love leaving by saying, "Oh, so this is your plan to buy piece of crap, dirty companies that don't make a product that anybody want." There's no demand for the product. He was doing a bunch of Tesla shit. "Oh, we'll have rollers and conveyor." Yeah, oh yeah, there's huge demand for that. I couldn't figure out who the fuck was buying it in the first place. And then I didn't understand why. I go, "Well, why would you buy this place?" I wouldn't pay a nickel for it. I'd rather take my money and buy gold and silver with it. That's a lock. Buying this place, and then you're trying to learn how the guy runs it. Don't you have if I'm going to buy places like this, I would know how to run it before I bought it. So if I was to buy, somebody's handicapping company, I know how to handicap. So if I'm buying the name Bobby Bo's Football Handicapping, and I'm buying your customers, I already know how to handicap. I'm buying your name to get your customers. But I know how to do it. It's not like I'm saying, well, how did Bobby handicap? Let me figure that out. Oh, fuck. Why would I buy it if I don't know how to do it? I found that to be extremely confusing in my mind. This whole thing doesn't make sense. So this is a whole Madoff thing I stumbled onto. which makes sense because nobody knew what they were doing. And then I see Madoff, and it's like a high school girl. Yep, that was the bookkeeper. A guy who was selling houses was the purchasing manager. It was hilarious. I never laughed so hard in my life. I'm like, look at these idiots. And they never had an accountant. In 30 years of business, how do you run it without an accountant and without an IT person? How do you run a business without an accountant? So you have a bookkeeper paying the bills and collecting the money and doing the shipping, and a guy doing purchasing, but no, okay. So you're not doing budgets, you're not doing forecast, you're not even knowing how much you make on each job. There was no reference to this job. We quoted it at 30,000 and we made 40,000. You couldn't even get that out of them. Does that sound like a well-run company to you? So that was my problems. I immediately was like, oh, what the fuck am I into? So I just worked there until they let me go, got the severance, applied for the unemployment, and basically I bought as much gold as I could. That was the point of working there, was to buy gold. I mean, it's just unbelievable how bad these companies are run and that they're even in existence. Blows my mind. That shows you how stupid people are. They don't understand Say's law. If you're going to make something there's demand for. So back to Enron, back to Wall Street. It's all a scam. Please get out. Don't buy stocks. And if you buy stocks, you better do what I'm telling you with gold. You get in at after 10, after it drops, when it starts going up, and you get the fuck out by 4 o'clock. Because the next day by 10 o'clock, you're going to get fucked. Unless it was a day like Monday where there's extraordinary news of banks failing, and then the 10 o'clock just kept going. It was just like boom all day, up 40. It was up $49. Anyway, it was 18.10 last week, and it's 19.10 this week. And that's COMEX bullshit, Madoff / JP Morgan. It'll probably go back down to 18.20 because it's not real. It's not a real number. Please understand that. So, with all that said, if you get a chance on Tubi to watch this Enron, it'll scare the shit out of you what these guys did. They take California down. There's no electricity because of them, because they took it down. It wasn't a shortage. How dare they make people go powerless? So what's happening in the Ukraine now? Probably the same thing. They're making the power down. It's probably it sounds like what's happening in Europe. They have the blackouts, like Jenna keeps having blackouts in Ukraine, and Berlin and Germany's having blackouts and shortages of heat, and it's very expensive. It's the same thing. I don't think it's got anything to do with the shortage. It's got to do with this, just like Enron did. The gas company, the electricity company is holding back electricity, making a shortage, making supply low. Demand doesn't go. Everybody needs the heat and electricity, and then it goes down, and then they go up. And it's probably what's going to happen here. If you get a power outage, it's on purpose. It's not. There's no reason. Somebody's pulling the plug on purpose. Somebody's pulling the plug on purpose. And you must understand that. This is why we own gold and silver. Gold and silver prevents us from being Madoff, JP Morgan, Enron, all this other bullshit, Warren Buffett, Microsoft. It keeps us out into life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We are free to do as we wish because we have gold and silver. We're out of that system. Look what Enron did to California. That's because they were in the system. Enron was allowed to fuck them, and they did. And California didn't get it. And all I know is then finally they got, and the brokers are like, oh, good, we make more money because if we shut supply, we can charge more. And the bills would go up, and it was all phony. And that goes back to the Bobby Bo question. If somebody pays you, if you're the natural and the gambler says to you, or the mafia guy, Well, here's 20 grand to strike out and not win the game, but you're under contract. Do you take the money or do you play? Now, the natural took he didn't take the money. He played. I'm going to play my game and we'll see what happens. I might strike out, but I'm not taking your money. But the Enron guys took the money, and they should all be in fucking jail because that's what they belong. And that's the problem with it. They should all be in jail. You can't morally fuck over people. Where does that come from? I think that's the favorite thing I finally understand about myself is always being moral and being honest is I'm an INFJ. So see, if I worked at Enron and the guy's telling me it's all about profit and it's all about being the best competition, he was like competition and the strongest survive, I would have told him to go fuck off. At work, it's not about competition because you're based on your skill. I'm in finance. I don't compete with anybody. I do my job. I do budgets. I do forecasts. I do month end. I look at service agreements and licenses, whatever it is. That's my job. I'm not competing with anybody. I'm just doing my job. I'm doing the job to the best of my performance, right? I come in and I work every day, but I'm there from 7:30 to 4. I take my half-hour lunch. I go home. Then I can concentrate on my football and anything else. So when I hear that mentality, I would never have been able to work at Enron. I would have got up, and as soon as I smelled what the rock was cooking, I would have been gone. I would have reported them and been gone. And had I watched Madoff before, I should have reported these guys to the FBI back in September. What they're doing, I guarantee you, is illegal. What the CFO did was absolutely deplorable to me. He never talks to me. I discover the inventory and I'm gone. I figured out the inventory. He should be happy I figured out the inventory. And he didn't even like look at it. And I'm going, something's going on here. What are you not telling me? You think I'm an idiot, and then now you found out I'm really intelligent. Okay. This is why I want gold and silver. I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to have a boss like this. I don't want to be in a corrupt corporation. I don't want to work for Madoff. I can't ask questions because I'm going to ask questions because that's what I am. I ask questions. If I did talk to the communists in the hot tub, I would say, why the fuck are you a communist? What is so appealing about Karl Marx? But I don't even want to go there because I don't want to waste my energy. It's very valuable to us, and I'm not going to waste it. What the fuck are you doing? Why do you think that's the good point, the good thing to go to? You got to be crazy. So always ask your, if something doesn't look right, or if Bobby's being asked to strike out and here's a payoff or to fix the game, you've got to go morally and say, I can't. It's not right. I've got to play my game as best as I can. You cannot sit there. You cannot take the payoff. As tempting as it is, and I know Jordan took it, and I know that's why he got suspended for 2 years and he played baseball. That was all phony. That was all him being caught cheating. He got caught fixing games. That's why he was suspended for 1.5 years. And everybody wants to call him the GOAT. And he's disgraceful. He's a pig. I imagine LeBron does it, and I imagine everybody does it. It's easy. Oh, I missed the shot. Oh, that I think people just sell themselves out. I think that's. But the more I'm watching between Madoff and Enron, when you have the SEC doing it and JP Morgan doing it, and then Arthur Anderson doing it, and all these banks, and you can see what's happening with these bailouts. It's all taking the money. Look what Biden does. These cartels are bringing people in Mexico and across the border. Nobody's stopping him. What do you think? Well, that's because he's not clean. He's taking the payouts. So he's doing illegal things and immoral things for the money. this is the problem. But when people like me, first of all, I'm never going to do that. And second of all, like if somebody said, here, Howard, I'll give you $1,000, give out losers. That would never fucking happen in a million years. I would not take your money. I would not take somebody's money and give out losers. That would never fucking happen because it's a pride issue with me and my reputation. Unlike Madoff, my reputation is I pick winners. And then you go and you say, yeah, he hit the Super Bowl, da 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 da. And that's the difference. Yeah, he had the TCU over Michigan. That's what it's about. It's not about giving out losers. If I ever did that, I would quit, and that would be it. I would never stoop to that level. But that's kind of what they're asking these idiots to do. This is what's so corrupt about the government. They're taking the payoffs and they're doing the Madoffs and the JP Morgans. And they're doing the price fixing on gold. What the fuck is this guy price fixing gold for? How does that benefit him? All right, so he makes a little bit of money instead of buying the gold and making a lot of money. Then he's going to lose a ton because once gold hits the roof, he'll be in these derivative positions and he has to come up with the money, which he won't be able to do. And he'll lose his ass. What the fuck is this guy doing? So that's what's going on. So be very careful about stocks. I guarantee you will lose in stocks in the long run. Which takes me to quitting a winner. See how everything kind of flows together. So what do I tell you? When I playing poker or betting football or the stock, the gold stock, what do I do? Quit a winner. Right? I'm up 70 cents in my gold stock. I sell it. I made $700. Thank you very much. I don't stick around till it goes down. When I play poker, I get up a few $100s. I walk away a winner. When I bet football, I have a good Saturday. I am not giving it back on Sunday. I told you that story. I hit $1,700 in 1975, 76, somewhere in that neighborhood. I'm at the grocery store. And I go like 17 for 17 with like $100, $200 on every game. And I'm up $1,700. And then I give $900 back on Sunday and I still win 8 or something like that. I still win 8 or 9, but I lose a lot on Sunday. And I was so pissed off. I was depressed for 2 days, even though I still won 8, 900 because of what happened on Sunday. And I would have much rather been up 17 and bet a little bit on Sunday because I knew I couldn't keep it up. And that's the point. So you've got to quit a winner. So when I hear these people like on Enron and the guy had $350,000 in his retirement account, get the fuck out, sell it and take your profit and go, man. And then he's crying, well, I didn't get any money out of it. I got $1,200. You had your chance. Quit a winner. Take your $350 and go, okay, I can't do it. This is great. I can't do any better. And the key is, if I'm working for Enron or Microsoft or anywhere, and I start seeing the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, CFO, Chief Financial, if I see them starting to sell, why are they selling? And I get the fuck out. That's what you do. And that's quitting a winner, right? So if I'm up 350, does it matter that here's the moral of my story on the 1700? If I'm up 350 and that's going to put me for life and I can retire and live a great life, would 400 be better? Would it help me more or probably not? Because 350 is great. Again, this is what in the 80s before the massive inflation hit, and now everybody's a billionaire, but really they're all worth $1 million or whatever. This is the point. Would they all be, would it matter if they got to 375 or 400? Would that matter? Or is it better 350 go down to 150? What is better? And I guarantee you, you don't need the 4 once you got to 350. Like once I got to 17, I didn't need 2,000. The 17 was it, man. This is 76, 77. That was like 17,000. I didn't need to win 3, 4, 500 on Sunday and get to 2,200. That didn't mean anything. The 1700 was it. So my moral is, when you get to the point where you're up, if you're playing craps or poker or stocks, when you hit your point, then you get the fuck out. You quit a winner. You don't, but you got to have the reason, right? So if I see the CEO selling, I get the fuck out. I don't sit there blind like an idiot going, well, he's selling, but geez, I don't, he has a good reason, so I won't doubt it. Oh, wait, the CFO's selling too. Oh, all the executives are selling. I'll just ignore that. No. Then they all wanted to get out at like $32 a share. And then I think they were able to get out at 15 because all the executives were selling at $32 a share. It was like frozen. Just like Madoff. If I'm up in Madoff and then I see this 2008 bad economic stuff coming, the tsunami and the housing crisis, I get the fuck out. I don't sit there and wait till that's so you take your profit and win and leave, because it doesn't matter. If I made 400,000 from Madoff, do I need to make 450? No. Take the money and get the fuck out. There's a point where the extra doesn't work. So normally when I teach it to you in like stake. The first stake's wonderful. The second stake is okay, but not as good as the first stake. And by the time the third stake's there, you don't even want it. You're satisfied after eating the first steak. You're really satisfied. The second steak, you're okay. And the third steak, you don't even care. Or Sundays or whatever. Or Mercedes. The first car is good. The second, I already got it. And the third, I don't even want it. I got to. And that's what happens in this. This is the lesson to be learned here, is when you've got your money, will the extra really benefit you? And if it won't, get the fuck out. But look for that. So in 2008, you could have seen this crash coming because inflation, because the interest rates were going up and people were starting. I'm sure you had little things like, now here's 3 bank failures. Well, get the fuck out of the bank. What do you got to wait till Comerica, has the bank closing? No, you see it. This is the black swan. Get the fuck out. This is what you're looking for. Don't wait till the end, till you can't get into your bank. This is the point. It's going to happen to your bank, but this is your point. You can't listen to Biden. Everything's going to be fine with the guy's a fucking idiot. He doesn't even deserve to, talk about the stuff. He doesn't know what he's doing. So that's what you got to do with that. He has no fucking clue. So with that in mind, this is the sign. Get the fuck out. If you got $100,000 in the bank, I don't want to hear I lost $100,000 in the bank from anybody in my class. Get the fuck out now. Buy a safe, put it in a safe, and or buy your gold and silver with it. You can't buy crypto, and God forbid if you buy stock, you better be in and out. It's got to be a day trade. It cannot be long term because it'll never last. All these will collapse, and you'll see when people need the money. When Bill Gates needs money, he's going to sell all his shares in Microsoft. And when Buffett needs his money, he's going to sell his Disney and he's going to sell his Coke. And all these companies are going to go down. And you'll see these guys selling the stock. That's the clue. That's when you get out. Not after the fact, you get out then. So you've got your warning. Now you've got 3 banks basically failing. The fact if they bail them out or not is meaningless. That's just more inflation, because we know the more you print, the more you print, the less they're worth. This is ProSet. They made millions of them. The more you print, the less they're worth. That's why this is worth $100 and not $1,000. That's why I tell Dick to buy limited cards, and everybody buy the 25 count, because they only printed 25. The value can't get hurt. But when you got a card like this, or these tops or ProSets, they printed 1 million of them. So they're not going to have the value. Well, that's basically this. You printed so much, it has no value. Get the fuck out. What are you waiting for? I've been telling you the whole time, but now we have the proof. We got banks collapsing. What do you think people are doing around the world? Their stock markets are getting crushed. They are leaving the dollar in droves. No demand. We know what happens when no demand. The fat, ugly lady is gone. Where can we go? Not into money. I just talked you out of stocks because it's Madoff and JP Morgan and Enron. It's all fixed. You're going to get caught holding the bag. The big guys are going to sell their million shares, lowering the price. You're going to get fucked. Oh, I had 300,000. Now I got 12. And I guarantee you that's what the Bitcoin's going to be. Bitcoin's 20,000. If you don't sell it now, you're a fool. Next thing you know, it'll be 1,000 because everybody will get out and they're all going to jump on the gold train wagon. Don't kid yourself. These people, even Buffett has $2 billion, 2 billion ounces of silver, or $2 billion in silver or ounces, and JP Morgan has silver. These people they realize that, and look at, let's go even better to the source, Putin. Putin's got 20,000 tons of gold. If that doesn't tell you anything, then I don't know how to open your eyes. You got to follow Putin, man. Putin might be a crazy person, but he's smart enough to buy gold. So you got to give him credit. China's got 40,000 tons of it. What the fuck do you think they have it for? They're the ones who are taking over because they have the gold. You have the gold, you got the power. That's the point of it. You have the best players are going to win the NCAA tournament, right? The best player, Bobby Bo Mahomes, wins the Super Bowl, but now twice in 4 years he's won the Super Bowl. Theoretically could have been there 5 years if he beats New England and Brady the first year. And then the second year he wins. The third year he loses to Brady again. And then the fourth year he loses to Burrow, and then he wins again. So look who had to beat him. He lost to Brady twice, and he loses to Burrow. So he loses to the best quarterbacks. So, but Jalen Hurts didn't win the Super Bowl. And where's Josh Allen? He'll never make one. Oh, Lamar. Why isn't somebody picking up Lamar? Because he's $50 million. He's so far over the market, it's ridiculous. So here's Lamar's salary, and this is what we're going to pay you because you're not a quarterback. And this is what, it's not that hard to figure, and it's got nothing to do with race. Mahomes and Russell Wilson have the same race, don't have any issues. So don't give me that shit. He's not a good thrower. He's not a good quarterback. And you can show me videos where he hits a wide open receiver. He hits the tight end for 10 yards. Big fucking deal. Where was he against Buffalo when they're up 17-0 and they lose the game 2017? Where did he go? He gets hurt for 6 weeks. Where did he go in the first playoff game against San Diego? Where did he go against Miami when they blitzed him every play and they get shut out by a fucking Miami team that sucked? So don't go telling me he's any good. But that's the whole thing with the market. So you got to be understanding the best players win the games. So we need to understand that. So what do we understand morality? You can't believe financial statements because for the right price, the auditors will dump, the SEC will dump, Arthur Andersen will dump. They'll take the money and fake it. So the only way you can actually trust financial statements, you can look at cash flow from operations, which is the true picture of the company. How much money are we getting in? How much are we going out? Sales are in. Okay. Costs are in. Payables are in. Receivables are okay. Our cash flow from operations is $2 million. Okay. That's a good company. If we can believe it. It can't be 2 million every quarter. It's got to be it's got to be variance. Then we can believe it. But at the bottom line, as we look at officers selling their stock, and it's on Google, and you can see it. If you go in to you call up the ticker, Microsoft, and inside it goes insider selling, and you can see what Gates or what these idiots are doing. If they're buying or selling, and when you see officers like that selling their stock, don't walk, run, get the fuck out of the stock. Why would they sell it if it's a good stock? If I was selling stocks of Teaserking, I wouldn't sell a share. I'd be buying and buying and buying. If I sold, you'd have to go, what the fuck are you selling for? And I couldn't give you an answer because there'd be no reason. There's no reason to sell if the company's doing well. And, I could blame the Russian war, and I could blame the inflation, and I can blame the high interest rates. I could blame them, but that's not the real reason. Oh, it's a fraud and I'm scamming you. That's why I'm selling you. But they're not going to say that. That's the problem with it. So keep that in mind. That's the only way to tell if a stock's good. You see the officers selling, get the fuck out. So my moral is I don't even get the fuck in because I am blind. I'm not at the company. Even if I am, I'm not sure I'm understanding everything. So please be careful. Stocks is not where you park your money, especially big money. And we know Bitcoin is nothing, right? What are you going to do with Bitcoin? How do you get it? What's its value? How do I cash it in? The whole thing. I don't understand. I don't want to understand. It's a scam. It's another Ponzi scheme. So that leaves me with gold and silver as the only really out because it's not controlled by anything. It's not a matter of if Warren Buffett sells 1 million ounces of silver, doesn't affect me. That's fine. You can sell his. I got mine. I know I'm going to have buyers buying the 1 million ounces. And I know why he's selling it because it's out in the clear blue. I can see what's going on that would cause me to buy or sell. Once we get away from JP Morgan and once it gets on the free market, there's no reason to sell once it hits free market, right? So if Buffett sells, it doesn't affect mine. The value of my gold or silver doesn't go down because Buffett sells a billion ounces or $1 billion worth. It doesn't matter. Mine is independent. You can inflate it. You can't print more of it. Right now, as I said, there's the debasement, which is the government. So let's say the government has gold and silver coins. It's 100% gold. Then it's less than 100. They debase it. They take 50% of the gold out of it. It doesn't matter. My coins are 100% gold. I've already bought them. They're 1 ounce of gold. I have that. It doesn't matter if they debase it. It matters if you're buying the new shit. But what I'm buying is I already bought is the ounce. The ounce is silver. So if they debase it, I'm fine. So you can't debase the currency will have any effect on me. I've already bought it. It will have an effect if I buy the new shit. But if I already bought it and I'm sitting on it, it doesn't matter. Nothing you can do can hurt me with gold and silver. You can't have Arthur Anderson cook the books. You can't have Madoff not pay me. You can't have JP Morgan do shit once it gets away from the price fixing I'm talking. So JP Morgan right now is price fixing it. That's the only thing you can do. But we know it, and we know the BRICS countries are going to take care of that. And they're going to get a price outside of, as Andrew McCuire says, the ring fence, which I have no idea. I guess it's between London and JP Morgan in New York is the ring fence, and they set the price. Well, here's Russia saying, fuck you. We're going to come over here, and we're going to set our own price. We don't want your price. Go fuck yourself. And then we'll all run to that, to the Russian price and say, fuck you, JP Morgan. And they'll be forced to let it go because who's going to buy it? Who's going to sell it at silver at $20 an ounce when it's $1,000? I'll go over there and get $1,000 an ounce, not your JP Morgan, which will force JP Morgan to go up to the 1,000 or stop playing. You can't, you got to compete. The beauty of competition. So keep that in mind. Nothing can happen. Nobody can fuck you and sell their shares of gold and silver. That's why you own physical. You are so protected. You can't lose your $60,000 in a mutual fund. This is my point. How many times do you hear people actually taking their profit? Nobody. I'm the only one who brings that subject up. I go play poker. I quit a winner. I bet football. I tell my 20% guys, don't fucking lose it back. We hammered the locks in college. We're up, $1,000. There's no way you're betting more than $500 on Sunday. because I am not allowing you to lose my winnings. We are locking that in, and you can bet 500 and that's it. And I'll take 20% of that. But there's no way that we're ending this week down. And I think I only had 2 losing weeks with the guy, my 20% guys. So that's my point. So with that said, be careful. There's now 3 banks. Now they're little. I don't know that they're little banks. It's just banks I've never heard of because they got to do with these startups. I know Bank America and Wells Fargo and JP Morgan Chase and Comerica. That's what I know. And I'm at Fifth Third. That's all I know, right? So I've already protected myself by taking most of my money out, basically leaving rent, which is on the 2nd of the month, and some credit cards and the gals and stuff like that. So that's where I'm at. I have very little in there. And then I wonder if the banks close, well, how do I pay my rent? So we will, and then their banks probably close. So what happens, right? So this will be hopefully not happening, but as we can see, it looks like it's going to be happening. So as much as you can get out and buy gold and silver, the less pain you have. And you just got to be careful. But that's how we sleep at night. And that's how we don't worry. You'll never hear me, I lost 100,000. I left it in the bank or I left it in the stock. I made money, but I didn't cash it out. All right. I got my last 25 in my cash account at E-Trade. At what point do I pull the switch, or will I lose it? If I don't take it out, will I lose the money, or it'll still be in there in E-Trade? If I pull it and it goes to my it goes to my Fifth Third account, will I be able to get my 25 grand out? Can I come and get 10 or 15 grand and get another, 7 or 8 grand out, and then have all the money in my safe? This I don't know. This I'm not sure of. What happens to your stock money? I know what happens if you're at Enron and the stock falls. But if you just have money in the account, which is what I have, I don't have a stock. If I just have money in my account, am I okay? Will I lose the money? I might lose this if the stock goes down, but I'm not playing that game. So I'm not sure. I'll have to listen and maybe pull it out. We'll see. It's a good year to do it. I'm not working. So basically my income is Social Security, which is not taxable. So very little. Basically, I'm just waiting for gold and silver to go up. I don't even know if that I don't even think it's income. Maybe it is, but only if I pull enough to make it income. So we will see. NCAA bracket. I'm going to the library to pull the bracket to see what exactly is there. Who's my big upset for the tournament? I don't know yet, Nick. I will look. Probably the best defensive team. Maybe it's Houston. Maybe it's Marquette. Maybe it's some team like that who's a real strong defensive team with a decent offense. I got to re-pull my Yahoo stats to get a new look at it, which I will do. And anyway, that's really what's happening. So I'll bring the spreadsheet and just kind of update it, but it's kind of antiquated with the team. And I just want to go after the teams in the tournament. I don't care about the 10th place team who's not in the tournament, the Z teams. So we'll do that later. What else? So it's very interesting how similar Madoff and Enron are, and I guarantee you a bunch of other companies and banks are. Like I guarantee you this bank, the Silicon Valley Bank, is the same as Madoff. It's the same as Enron. It's too big to fail. Enron, I would never have worked there. The guy who was the CFO or CEO was a fucking moron. Survival of the fittest. Well, that's not what it means, you idiot. Survival of the fittest is playing baseball and everything being on legit, and then the best hitters make the team. That's what it means. It's not you cheat. You don't cheat to win. And I don't consider what McGuire and Bonds did was cheating. Taking steroids helped them heal better. It's not hand-eye coordination. They didn't hit home runs because they're on steroids. Such a stupid thing. Anyway, what else? So NCAA, NFL draft, we'll take a look at. We got some free agent signings yesterday. Looks like Rodgers is going to the Jets. I love how people run and bet the Jets to win the Super Bowl. Like, dude, first of all, he's got to get used to his receivers. Then we got to worry about injuries. Don't make those stupid bets or win totals. You don't even know how long he's going to play there, how it's going to mesh. I remember Brett Favre went to the Jets and it sucked because he didn't like the offense. Then he went to the Vikings and he was in a better offense. So just because he's on the Jets doesn't mean he's at an offense that fits him. Does he have the receivers that will fit him? This we will see. Does he have the coach? They're a good defensive team, so it's a good fit from that standpoint, but he's got to have the receivers and run the offense that he's used to running for 20 years. So we will see. It definitely hurts Buffalo if now the Jets have Rodgers and the defense, and it hurts Miami. New England sucks anyway, so it really doesn't hurt them. They're still with Matt Jones. What's going on with Zappy? Why is it Houston trading? Why did they pick up Garoppolo? Why would you pick him up? At what point do you think he's a good quarterback? I've never thought he was a good quarterback. I didn't think he was a good quarterback at New England. I didn't think he's a good quarterback at San Francisco. Now, wherever the fuck he's at, he's not a good quarterback with Houston, I think. So I don't really get that. Stupid pickup. And then Miami picks up Mike White, thrilling, from the Jets. You got their third string quarterback. Yeah, that's going to help you. So this is in case Tagovailoa gets hurt. You're lucky if Tagovailoa plays with all these concussions. You got to figure him for at most 5 games. You get to play a couple games, get injured, have a concussion. And how many concussions can the guy have? Troy Aikman quit. Steve Young quit because of the concussions. Roger Staubach quit because of his concussion. I saw that play. LC Greenwood was like 1979. They were playing a regular like week 10 game in Dallas, and LC Green nailed him, and that was it. He was done. He never played again. He had the concussion. So how many concussions is Tagovailoa going to have before he quits? And you're going to be stuck with Mike White. So Garoppolo, I'm questioning. I question this draft. So you're going to draft the Alabama quarterback, TJ Stroud from Ohio State, another winner. And then now Anthony Richardson from Florida, because he runs a fast 40, is going to be your quarterback. And you do realize he sucked at Florida. Not like Florida was Georgia. They didn't win the title because they had Richardson. Like LSU won the title only because of Burrow. They won the title because of Burrow, right? Georgia won the title because of Bennett. Ohio State lost to Michigan 2 years in a row with C.J. Stroud. What makes you think he's any good? Alabama lost 2 games, should have lost 4 games last year with their quarterback. Do you think he's any good? I don't know. I hear he's small. Name me an Alabama quarterback besides Joe Namath and Ken Stabler, and they're back in the 60s and 70s, that have done anything. Tagovailoa? No. Mac Jones? No. What do you think this guy, McElroy, whatever his name is, you think he's going to do anything? No, because it's a system. But a Burrow who comes in where there is no system, and then there's a champ like Jake Haener. I would even say that Penix at Washington, he got the Fresno State system, but it showed you how good Haener was, because even when the coach left for Washington, he still had a great year. He's a winner, Haener. I would draft Haener ahead of all those 3 quarterbacks. And I'd just draft him instead of taking a Garoppolo or a fucking Garoppolo or Mills over. I would take him over those guys in a heartbeat. Oh, he's too small. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we've heard that one before. Since when do you got to be 7 feet tall to play quarterback? What a stupid excuse. Duggan from TCU got him to the championship game. Must be good. He looked very sharp out there. I don't know. I think Gabriel's still playing for Oklahoma. Sanders at Oak State has transferred. I think he's still playing. Penix, Washington. Nix at Oregon. All these guys are still playing. Booglia, I'm waiting for him to be drafted in the first round. If he gets drafted because he's athletic, I might as well start applying for GM jobs in the NFL. My team will win the Super Bowl by 50 points if this is how they look at quarterbacks. So whatever team, let's say Richardson goes to the Colts, we'll be locking against the Colts every game of the year. This guy sucks. And if he plays, and then how much is the coach playing him versus the president saying we got to get him out there? He's a running quarterback. It'll be good for the fans. We're going to sell tickets. Yeah, but we're going to lose every game and I'm going to lose my job. Yeah, but we sell tickets. It's unbelievable what we're hearing, what we're seeing. It's mind-blowing, this kind of shit. It really is. It's terrible what they become. Other quarterbacks. So again, Stenson from Georgia. I would take Stenson, Duggan from TCU, Haener from Fresno State ahead of any of those guys. I got to look at the quarterbacks to really get a better view. But those are do I have my football one? I don't think I'd have that open. NCAA baskets, and I got the NFL. I don't have my college open. I have to open that one up. I'll do that later. It'll take too much time. But we'll go through the list of quarterbacks now that we're getting closer to the draft. And we'll just run it down. The guy threw 40 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Okay. But if it's at Alabama and Ohio State, it doesn't count. Look at Fields. Look at Tagliabue. They threw all these touchdowns and no interceptions. And they suck because it's a system. I don't see C.J. Stroud is going to be any better than Fields. I'm a little bit surprised Chicago isn't trading Fields for a higher draft pick, but there's no quarterback out. So I would suffer with Fields one more year. Then I would trade him for the 1 pick because they'll be the worst team again. So what I would do is trade Fields to pick up Cam Rising next year. Provided Rising recovers. But if Rising recovers, he'd be my number 1 pick. The guy's a fucking winner. The guy's Joe Burrow. That would be what I would trade Fields. I wouldn't keep Fields. I wouldn't keep Lawrence. These guys suck. And this is the problem. They're going to suck. They're going to keep sucking because they got these bad quarterbacks. But they're like the guy, like Jackson. Oh, we got Lawrence. Look what he did in the playoff game. He threw 4 interceptions. So we got to keep this guy. What are you fucking kidding me? This guy sucks, but they're too stupid to see it. And so they'll suffer at 8-8 with Lawrence, and Fields will win 3 games a year. They'll both be injured. Look for Lawrence to get more injured, as they go, and the offenses are so vanilla. The defenses are terrible. They just play the zone and let them throw these balls in front. All Lawrence does is throw 5-yard passes, right? And the defense is in the zone, so they get first down. So he just dinks and dunks down the field. But he's no Joe Montana. So we need the new group I see Bennett, Haener, Dalton from TCU. Those are my top quarterbacks. Let's see what Trask does for Tampa. He should be starting this year. Let's see what happens. Although they got such bad coaching down there, he won't look good. Josh Love for Green Bay, we're going to be hammering against them until he proves himself. Now, he had the good year at Utah State where I actually liked him. Then he had a terrible year when they switched coaches. Which Jordan Love is it? But if he plays like he did his junior year, then he's a good quarterback. If he plays like he did his senior year, Green Bay's got big problems. So let's see. We got to give him 4 or 5 games, and we'll be able to figure him out. No, it's the same bullshit like Jalen Hurts. Oh, we'll go back and we'll run. And when you see that, it's a bad quarterback. Philadelphia probably won't make the Super Bowl again. They're kind of loaded up last year, and they had the easiest schedule in the league. Well, Dallas is Jacksonville, right? Jacksonville has Lawrence. It's like Dallas having Prescott. He's not good, but they keep him, and they think he's good, but he sucks. Therefore, they can't win anything because Prescott can't play in the playoffs because against better defenses, he chokes. Look at him against the Niners. 19-12 or whatever that score was, he couldn't handle a good defense. That's the problem with these guys. Lawrence couldn't beat Kansas City. Tagovailoa he couldn't even play, but when he did, the year prior, Buffalo beat him by 35. This is the point. What does Burrow do? Burrow goes into Buffalo and beats them 27-10. That's the difference. Burrow won the game. Lawrence and Tagovailoa can't win those games, and Jackson can't win those games. That's what you watch. Look at the playoffs. That tells you everything. That's where I come to my conclusions. And when I see Hayner in college light it up against UCLA, I go, fuck, this guy's good. And, fucking Stetson Bennett beats Ohio State, comes from behind, and then kills TCU. Michigan couldn't beat TCU. What the fuck are you thinking, man? This guy's a real deal. He's 25. Who gives a fuck? Since when is, I love these little excuses. It's just like the government. Well, these were small banks. These weren't regional banks. These were startup banks. They were banks that went out. This is a quarterback who lost. Well, he's 25. Oh, now he's 25. Only 22-year-olds can do well. What the fuck are these guys? Oh, he's too small. Hayner's too small. Rising, I don't know what the excuse is on him. Oh, okay. Well, let's look at the Daniels, the LSU quarterback. Yeah, he's good because he can run. What the fuck are you talking about? So that's my point. Bennett is not in a system. He runs a lot. He hits the tight end. Please draft the tight end, Bowers. I don't know if he's in there. If he's in there, I would be probably drafting him really, really high, ahead of Richardson and CJ Stroud and the Alabama quarterback. That guy is a game changer, right? If I pray and I beg Cincinnati gets Ross Bowers if he's in the draft this year, which I don't know. I thought he was a freshman 2 years ago and a sophomore this year. So I think he's got to play one more year. And if he does, look for Georgia to win again. They're so talented on defense. They didn't need their defensive coordinator because it's Kirby Smart's defense. As you saw, Oregon did not have that wonderful of a defense. So we'll see if Oregon's defense gets better. But for the draft, stay away from Ohio State's quarterback. Look at Wonderful Fields. He sucks. So where are you getting that Stroud's a good quarterback? I don't understand. At what point are there stars out of Ohio State that say, yeah, this is quarterback factor? In Michigan, you had Greasy, then you had Brady, and you had even Chan Henney's still in the league. You had some stars come out of Michigan that were good quarterbacks because it was a good system. Elvis Gerback played for the Niners, beat the Cowboys in a playoff game. You had very good quarterbacks come out of Michigan into the pros. So what the fuck? What do you see at Ohio State that is not a system? Please explain to me that you think these Ohio State quarterbacks are any good, but none of them. T.J. Barrett, Caldwell Jones, or like Jones who played he won the championship and then he couldn't even make the team the next year, and then he got drafted and he sucked. And now you got Fields, who wasn't even an Ohio State guy, he was a Georgia guy. So Stetson Bennett beat out Fields, AKA, right? Or I should say FYI. So that's what happened. So just be careful with that. So again, we'll look more to the quarterbacks that are there. Outside of that, do not see why this Anderson from Alabama, name me an Alabama defensive player that's any good. I can name you 20 LSU defensive players, and I would rather get guys from Iowa State, Iowa, Illinois, Washington State, Oregon State to draft defensively than Alabama. Even Michigan is okay. Ohio State, they suck defensively. The Big Ten was really strong defensively. Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin was there. I think Minnesota had some good talent. So that's where I would go for it. Now, keep in mind, this basketball tournament, we are looking for the star. We are looking for the Patrick Mahomes, the Joe Burrow, the Tom Brady. That's who we're going to bet on. That's who wins. That's who gets you the money, the stars. So we have to, I know that kid out in Alabama, the guy who, the murder guy, I know he's a star. How he's still playing is beyond me. Now, I'm really torn by that. He is an accessory to murder because he drove the gun to the guy who actually used the gun. Did he know the guy? Does it matter that he knew the guy was going to kill the girl? Does that matter? Or is he pleading stupidity that, well, I gave him the gun, I didn't know what he was going to do with it? Really? You drove the gun over at 2 a.m. You didn't know what he was going to do with it. Oh, okay. I got some oceanfront property here in Detroit I can sell you. Why is he playing? I mean, either he should be arrested as an accessory or it's not an issue and therefore that's fine. But it seems to be an issue. He's got to be a bigger distraction than that. And if he can play as a murder guy, then that's pretty sad. But you've got to find your stars. So we'll go to the individual players and look at their scoring averages and try to see who the best, or maybe there's an All-American team, and see who the best players are on the team. There's always, Kansas has somebody, Duke, Kentucky, Purdue, I guess, has a good center. Houston has a really good player, I know. Memphis must have a good one. I'd say Marquette has a good one. And you just go down the list of and that's who you're going to bet on, right? It's not a mistake that the star wins. Jordan won 6 because of Jordan and Pippen and Rodman. He didn't win until Rodman got there, by the way. San Antonio. and I think 2 or 3 was Chicago. So why isn't Rodman the GOAT? He's won 8 rings. Jordan only won 10 different teams. I think Rodman's the GOAT, not Jordan. Jordan couldn't win without Rodman at several places. With Isaiah and anybody can win with Isaiah and Lambert. You just have to take your hat off to him. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the best defensive team, and you're looking for the stars. That's who you bet on. That's how you bet on in every sport. Bobby Orr, Phil Esposito, Gretzky, Lemieux, they all won titles. You got to have the team around them and the coach. And it's funny, Jordan couldn't win. He got Rodman, and he got Pippen, and he got Phil Jackson. Then he won. LA couldn't win until they got Phil Jackson, but then they got Kobe and then they brought in Shaq, and then they won. So Kobe couldn't win without Shaq. So in basketball, you need that little man and the big man. Kareem and Magic. Wilt and Jerry West. Until you got both pieces, you couldn't win. That's why Oscar couldn't win. He didn't have a big man until he got Kareem. So the funny part is, about the early 70s, Kareem comes in out of UCLA. Oscar on the same team. They win the title. He goes to LA. Chamberlain's there with West. He wins the title. Then Kareem goes to the Lakers. they get Magic, and he starts winning 4 or 5 titles. Bird gets McHale and Parrish, and he wins a couple of titles. So if you have a really good ball handler, passer with a big man, that's the formula. That's why Golden State's such an anomaly. They want shooting the ball from half court. Like, really? Steph Curry played out of his mind. That's why no other team really does it. It's very hard to shoot like that. That's why you never see Durant win, or you see the other guy. I can't think of his name. That's why you don't see these guys win. Oh, anyway, be very careful in your stocks. If you see the CEOs, CFOs, presidents selling, get the fuck out. Get your money out of the bank before it's too late. You can see it's happening. Stop waiting. I don't want to hear from anybody here, oh, I lost my 100 grand in the bank. I didn't pull it out. All right. You are told to pull it out. Buy a safe and or buy gold. You can't lose. If you buy gold, all right, so keep enough money for some expenses and then buy gold with the rest if you can find it, or silver, and just hold it. And if you need money, you go back to the coin store and you get your money. That's the worst that happens to you. You know this is going to zero. You know they want us in digital dollars, and this is all part of their plan to blow up the banks so everybody gets scared. Where do we go? Oh, no, don't go to gold. Go into the digital dollar, which isn't ready, so I don't even know why they're doing this. And we will see. But the digital currency is not ready. That'll be chaos if they say, oh, go to the digital, unless they want you in Bitcoin, but I'm not going in Bitcoin. For some form of crypto, that's not going to happen. If they force us, then I'll move to Switzerland or something. I don't know. We don't have to live here. Pack up your gold and silver and just fly, and then go buy your bed and TV and wherever you're at. We will see. All I know is that my girlfriend could live in the Ukraine in the middle of a fucking war. We can get up and move to Switzerland or Spain or Portugal and have our gold and silver and go from there. So anyway, keep that in mind. I got to go check the baskets. Jay, give me an email. I'll give you the card and a few more if you want, if you're serious, which I never know. And that's about it. So please be careful. Understand Wall Street is all Madoffs and Enrons. That's pretty common. JP Morgan is corrupt as can be. It's pretty common. Don't think your money's safe in a mutual fund or stocks. If you're up 100 grand, sell the fucking stuff and get out of the system. Even if you have to pull the money in and put it in a fucking safe, do that. It's safer than leaving it in a company that's about to go under. The banks are the tip of the iceberg. The economy's crashing. Hello, McFly. I don't know what else you need to see. Gold and silver is held down by JP Morgan, but BRICS is going to reverse it. Everybody's going to run into gold and silver because they're going to realize the market's not safe and the banks aren't safe. They have no other alternative. They're not all buying Bitcoin. They're not all buying, if they want to buy crypto, then they're going to lose their ass in crypto. I know crypto, people, they've lost trillions of dollars in crypto. Good luck losing your password or your ID, and then you've got all your money in crypto that you can't get out. Good luck with that. So with that said, the only safe haven is gold and silver. So if you don't understand that, please ask me now. Please email me at www.teaserking.com. Let me know. I'll be more than happy to explain it again, or watch any of my other videos where I explain it. But I'm happy to explain it again so you understand it. All right. Have a wonderful day. www.teaserking.com. 3 bank crashes. How many more do you need to see? Don't keep a lot of money in the bank, enough to pay your bills. I think that'll be safe. I don't think they're going to zero us. I think what a bank run is, you're actually there to take out the money. But if my money's in there and I'm not trying to take it out and I'm trying to pay rent with it, I think it's still there, right? I just don't think they have it to pay you, but I think electronically, if I'm trying to pay rent, I think it's still there. All I know is I saw my bank balance today. It's what I thought it was, so I think I'm okay. All right. Have a wonderful day. I'm going to try to get a haircut. I'm going to go to the library. And right now I'm going to go eat some hamburger and salad and get on. All right, everybody. Thank you. Have a great day. Good luck. Stay safe. Watch what's going on. Get out of the fucking banks. All right. www.teaserking.com. The professor. Here to help. Here to keep you safe.